Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to another edition of the NXT post-show after party thingy that I do with Kate. It's me. It's me. It's ASG. It's the Alex Sauer Graps guy, Pawlowski, and it's also Miss Kate Fabe. Kate Elizabeth, how you doing? I know it was a jam-packed episode of NXT, with Vengeance Day and whatnot. Titles being defended, new challengers rising up from the ashes. But I can't shake the feeling that there must have been something else today that I'm forgetting about.
Ooh, you are right, sir. Sean's interview with Gabriel Kidd is great, and you should check it out.
It was a very nice interview.
It was a wonderful interview with the Gabe. I like the Gabriel Kidd. Not so much a kid.
No,
I think he proved that
he's a full-grown man.
Proved it against the Eddie Kingston. That is the other newsworthy thing that happened outside of NXT. There's absolutely
nothing else
that I can think of. Anything on your mind? The Josh Alexander, maybe.
Oh, Josh Alexander. He's
with the visa.
He's the visa. I know. Listen, one time my MasterCard expired, and that was a whole thing I had to go through.
Oh my God, you got.
I'm down at the JCPenney, and my MasterCard is expired, and they won't let me buy this smart pantsuit I found. It was the last one in my size. I was like, I am not leaving here without this pantsuit.
That's the smartest of pantsuits.
It was a brilliant pantsuit. It went to university, don't you know?
Did it go to the Chase University?
No, it went to Harvard. Chase University. What do you think it's going to? It's safety school. No, it got into its first choice, Harvard Law. It's making its mother very proud. That pantsuit.
I'm sure it is, guys. With the Linda and the Sheila, we're asking you to leave the thumbs up. Please. The thumbs up, it helps us, with the algorithms.
It does. The algorithms are very much helped.
Also, subscribe to Fightful Select, like 5,000 other people have. You can get so much great content behind the paywall. Sean has more details about the Cody knows. The Cody Rhodes news that blew our minds today. There's some more details on Fightful Select about that, as well as a ton of other breaking news podcasts like Sour Graps, the non-NXT version that this guy does, and The Weekender with Steven Jensen. So much going on there. All of the latest and greatest breaking news. Sean's got you covered.
Yeah.
So subscribe there. Leave a thumbs up. But oh my, Alex, what a wrestling day.
What a wrestling day. What a wrestling doodah day. It's too early for me. Like it was prior to 9 a.m. this morning that I was like, Cody Rhodes is gone. He left. He's probably gonna be in. Like, it's too early. I haven't had my breakfast yet. Come on, people. What are we doing? Putting that in my lap for the rest of the day.
He founded a company and then was like, deuces. What?
We'll talk about that a bit later. We can
get in your Humper chats and super chats for anything that you want to talk about, but especially if anybody has any specific impressions of 205 Live eulogies that you want to see.
Also, there's another thing. 205 Live is officially dead.
205
another
Live
thing today, just
dead.
On top of all the other things.
Pour one out. Go back and watch Mustafa Ali and Bud Matthews, which was like the greatest match in the history of that little shindig. And just a phenomenal wrestling match in general. Because I don't know if you know this, Alex.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali has a great deal of value.
He does. He's got so much value.
They won't let him go.
They won't let him go.
But they won't use him.
This is, you know what this is? This is when you get put on hold for like 3 hours, and every 5 minutes the music stops and they go, "Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line, and the next available customer service representative will speak with you shortly." And they do that for you for 3 hours, or in his case, 2.5 years.
Oh boy.
So please Super chats, humper chats. We'll be talking to you, reading your stuff, talking about it all night. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and tonight is Galentine's Day. And Kate brought props. Show it off, Kate.
I mean, I did famously say it was arts and crafts night.
Yeah.
So if there's something we didn't like,
Nah. There's a nah sign.
But sorry, my CM Punk action figure just tried to jump. This is him. It's the Nexus version. My parents they got that for me many days ago. But if there's anything that we like,
the heart.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you guys super chat a nah or a heart, they should trip a Linda and Sheila mode, because this is supposed to be Valentine's Day.
It is. So it's Valentine's Day.
If you want us to go off about something we don't like, just super chat nah. And if there's something that we love and you want us to talk about how much we love it, so just super chat. All you have to say, super chat or humper chat, is the heart emoji.
Yes.
I got to make back the 75 cents I spent on this poster board. I'm probably like another 20 cents on that Sharpie. So super chat away, fellas and ladies.
Taped before this episode of NXT, which was Vengeance Day, we got the new show in place of 205 Live. 205 Live is now officially is now officially 205 dead. Now officially 205 dead. People have been making that joke for like 4 years. It is officially now 205 dead.
205,
but
holes in the ground.
Yeah. So they replaced it with a new show, which is basically what 205 Live has been since they fired all the cruiserweights during the great culling of 2020 and 2021. It's basically been now for several months developmental for the developmental brand, where they have people who aren't quite ready yet or aren't really involved in things. They'll have people have matches over there on 205 Live, and now they're going to have matches on something called Level Up. But Kate,
yes, sir.
I don't know if you saw the logo for Level Up.
I sure did.
But for some reason, they decided to remove the E's from the word level. So it's just LVL and then the up sign and then UP. So it looks like Level Up. Level Up. I will never, ever, ever refer to it as Level Up from now on. This is the last time I'm doing it. From now on, it's going to be Level Up. All you got to do is buy a vowel. You made $1 billion last year. Buy one vowel. You buy it once, you get two for the price of one. Buy a vowel.
I have a theory about this, though. You want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
I think you're going to love it. My theory is...
I'm never going to get tired of that. I'll tell you that much.
My theory is because people always call it like the Fed and the E, and because they can never have any fun, they took all the E's away. So there's no E's in the word level, and there's not even any E in the word NXT. They were like, no, you call us the E, we're taking the E's away.
No. But
which is appropriate because it's not entertaining.
Is that we see NXT, right? We don't say next. We say NXT. Oh, is it actually LVL? LVL really doesn't sound very great. It sounds like a grade of motor oil. Like I got to put the LVL in my Honda, otherwise it starts to grind after a few thousand miles.
We checked the pH. We checked the LVL.
Yeah. So anyway, Level Up every Tuesday, every Friday at 10/9 Central. Level Up.
God, I hope Nikita Lyons does the theme for it. Actually, I'm like, don't do the theme for it.
Nah.
I'll
tell you what's nah. The night the show started with a group text that was recorded with Mandy poolside in a bikini. Gigi Dolan splayed out all over her bed in lingerie. And I didn't remember what the hell JC Jane was doing because I was just like, why am I watching a group text in live time? And why are they saying such mean things about my friend Tony D'Angelo? Like,
It's
he's got
rude.
all kinds of money. Isn't that what these girls are all into?
Well, also, you know, God forbid he oversee one of those texts. God forbid one of those ladies leaks to get on his good side. They're gonna have some problems on their hands.
Yeah.
I was just relieved to see Mandy got back in the pool after like a 2-week absence. I know it's her other passion.
She was getting dried out like a fish.
Yeah. It's very important to like rotate your time in and poolside.
Yep.
It's just she goes 2 places in this world: the pool and the performance center.
Yeah.
So I just like I'm a little concerned. I hope she gets more hobbies. I don't know if she eats ever. It's just a little concerning. I'm worried the rose is not going to be thorny, but it's going to be waterlogged.
Every rose has its thorn. Just
I've hopped.
Or tonight, every rose has its return to WWE.
We're assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we got some super chats, in here. Andrew 7186 says Quinn McKay is the Level Up ring announcer,
which is very cool. Hire Veda Scott, for the love of God. Somebody hire Veda Scott to do commentary. But Quinn's unbelievable. Quinn's great and pretty good in the ring, by the way.
Yeah, but now she's a ring announcer. So,
well, she did a lot of like interview and backstage and ring announcing type work.
Sure, but here's a fun fact that people seem to at least 2 people seem to be unaware of this fact whenever I bring it up. They wanted Thunder Rosa to be a ref. Like, these people have like Quinn McKay, pretty good in the ring. How's your chops ring announcing? Because like,
but in ROH, I will say she was more a backstage personality and doing more of that work. And who knows that Level Up, if you're going to be able to, they would love a stupid ass angle where a ring announcer would get in a fight with someone. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Yeah. So also Mark Losper says in Humber Chat saying, big wrestling news aside, we really need to hear Linda and Sheila's eulogy for the recently deceased 205 Live, due to be replaced by a new show, Level Up. Well, listen, I haven't watched the 205 Live in years.
You were on husband number 6 the last time you watched 205.
Oh God, no! Husband number 6 was I think it was Hogan versus Piper on number 6. That was a long time ago. No, I have not. There were no husbands during that time. There were a few boyfriends, but no, I did not. I have not watched it in years, but I do remember the halcyon days of 2018 with all those amazing matches, Mustafa Ali and Hideo Itami before he went back to Japan. He was doing some good work there. And Akira Tozawa before he became a ninja and started chasing people around for a belt that looks like a watermelon. I mean, I remember the good old days of Akira Tozawa back when he was allowed to be an actual wrestler and not just a comedy character. That's all I'm saying about that. But I will miss the 205 Live. I think officially it died today, but it was put on life support when they had a 405-pound gentleman work it in Odyssey Jones. At that point, it's no longer 205 Live.
I think that's fair to say. You know what I never understood? Why they never did anything like a fun giveaway in a Section 205 when they were taping it. Like, I've been to the live tapings of the WWE, and when they do your 3-hour Raw, which is egregious, and then they do your 205 Live and your SmackDown in the same smattering. Yeah. I don't understand why they didn't do like a fan giveaway for Section 205 ever. It seemed like an obvious thing.
But there are a lot of things they don't do that seem obvious, and that one is one of the least egregious one of the things. But of course,
that is a fair point.
Shocky29 says, so 205 Live is being replaced by WWE's answer to Nickelodeon Gas.
Oh yeah, the Gas Network.
Yeah, might as well call it NXT Guts Or how about NXT Double Dare? Now that'd be good. If you lost and you got slimed, that'd just work right in for the demo that they're trying to get, which of course is the grandchildren of the demo they actually get.
I think the giant nose would be a great match stipulation. I don't know how you work it in. I think that could be fun. I think someone should have to assemble
a crowbar up a giant nose match.
Perfect.
You got to reach up there, pull the crowbar out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Someone gets slimed. You have to assemble the little monkey like that was on Legends of the Hidden Temple. You have to do the steps of knowledge.
Another wrinkle. When you pull the crowbar out, it's covered in slime. So it's really slippery. So there are people like swinging it around and it flies out of their hands into the crowd. Wouldn't that be good?
That would be great.
Be great.
Liven it up.
You gotta liven it up or liven it up if you move out, take out the vowels.
I love that idea.
The N and the H. It would never stop doing that. If the WWE didn't license Ciara's song "Level Up" for their stupid show that I just heard about, I don't think they did.
No, of course not. Tony Khan licensed it just so they couldn't.
Brendan Tungate says, "Hey." Hi. Everyone who wins after level up must have the Final Fantasy victory theme play after their matches. Level up.
I don't know it.
Well, I'm sure I don't. But it's a little trill that plays after you level up. Get it?
Oh, I get it.
After you level up.
My
JW Pringle. Go ahead.
Oh, the most video games that I played used to be at my grandparents' house, and they had Super Mario and Duck Hunt. Other than that, it was just computer games, so that like doesn't even register. And my uncles would cheat at Duck Hunt. There were cheats. You could hold the piece of paper in front. It's true.
Cheating uncles.
My uncle was Eddie Guerrero, by the way.
18 years ago today.
That's it. Yeah.
18 years ago, he countered an F5 with a DDT. He taught everybody the secret weapon to how to counter the F5. To this day, nobody else has done it. Come on, people. It's right there for you. It's every year they show the clip. Just do that.
That's it. And now every Hispanic wrestler gets compared to him, whether they're that good or
it's because of all the frog splashes. If they would just stop doing frog splashes and, the 3 suplexes in a row, the Tres Amigos, then they would, not to be confused with the Migos, which of course is how this whole thing started.
I just realized we have 5,000 subscribers on Fightful Select, which means there might be new people watching and they are clueless as to what is going on.
And they will remain so. I am Linda and she is Sheila, and occasionally we have things to say.
It's
we're just doing to pop ourselves.
And you know what? Ask a friend. Ask a friend in the chat who the hell Linda and Sheila are.
If you all get popped accidentally, so much the better.
God
but
bless.
We're doing it for ourselves.
Truly.
We just did it as a rib. JW Pringle says, would it be level up because the up sign is in the middle? So if you're reading it across, if you're reading the emojis, it would be level up.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think last year, because WrestleMania Backlash was just the same storylines for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I said that whatever pay-per-view that was, the one after WrestleMania Backlash. I was like, they should just call it WrestleMania Backlash because it was the backlash to WrestleMania Backlash. This is kind of like that, where it's like level up. Or maybe it's going to be like a level up, down thing.
Everything, like through the summer, should just have a WrestleMania put in front of it. So it's WrestleMania Backlash, WrestleMania Payback, WrestleMania Paylash, WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh, I like WrestleMania. I love WrestleMania
Paylash. Speaking of Paylash, it was not Paylash. It's the Payless. I used to go to the Payless shoe source, and I would get those walking shoes that I would get there. So cheap.
You know what I love?
But wonderful. Yeah.
I love the BOGO.
Oh,
I love the BOGO.
You gotta go when there's the BOGO.
I would get one half off.
If there's no BOGO, then I don't go.
No
I
BOGO?
won't go. I won't go if there's no BOGO.
We don't go.
Just popping ourselves. Fact Channel says follow K-Rex on Twitter. Worth it. Yes,
Thank
follow
you,
us
Fact
both.
Channel. And that's called Fact Channel. He has a whole channel of facts. So that may look like an opinion.
It's a fact.
It's a fact that you should be following us on Twitter.
That's a fact, Jack.
And we love it. We're not nah. We love it.
Yeah. Brennan Tungate says Kate's uncles cheated at Duck Hunt. Total heels.
Viva la Duck Hunt.
Brendan Tungate said, I didn't watch NXT. I'm in for Linda and Sheeler.
Oh, well, we're so glad you're here.
Yeah. Thank you, Gary, for the donation.
Thanks,
yeah, oh my God. Mark Quill says it's called Level Up because people who win matches earn XP. And if they farm enough XP, they get the shot at the Level Up championship.
Perfect.
The Level Up.
Level Up. Level Up. We're going to get taken off of YouTube because I'm singing a shitty version of that stupid song.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to lose it. You know, there's a BOGO. There's a BOGO for the WrestleMania.
Oh my goodness!
There's a BOGO for the WrestleMania. So if there's no BOGO, I don't go. But guess what? I'm still not going to the BOGO. Regardless of the BOGO or no BOGO, I'm a no-go for the WrestleMania this year. Because
you know what? You get the 2 nights. So they should give you 1 half off if you decide to go to both.
It's true. Alan Marks says they're not ready for primetime sports entertainers. That's what Level Up is going to be.
It's the developmental. That's bad. Don't make that a show. Put it on closed circuit television. Yeah. That's what developmental should be.
It really is. We're getting hit on in the chat.
We are.
Eric Brady says, Alex, will you be the whole chat's Valentine?
Will you?
Listen, it's been listen, don't you not take me back to sophomore year at college when I was the whole chat's Valentine, let me tell you what. But that was a very tiring evening. The Nerd Guru says, don't have much to say, but Kate, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
And that's nice.
It's because the Bannerama headband. I'm such a Cabana market, stupid.
Shocky29 says, careful, Kate, your singing may cause sexual anarchy.
We have to talk about this real quick.
Do we?
I don't even remember which political idiot it was, but what I couldn't handle was that this Super Bowl that he said was causing sexual anarchy is from songs from like 20 years ago. Yeah. Meaning, like, he's 2 decades late on being offended.
It's not the singing, of course.
It was Dre's sexy fake piano playing?
The dancing. They were dancing. They did not leave room for Jesus. Between their groins and the other person's groins, there was no Jesus room.
You know, that Eminem used to be so nasty, but he really seems to have turned a corner.
You know why? Because he's a brunette now, just like the Mandy Rose.
But she turned evil.
She turned evil. If you change your hair color, you go from one thing to the other.
It doesn't matter which color.
It doesn't matter which color. But you were one thing when you had one hair color, then you change your color and you become the opposite.
You become the other thing.
Yeah. The opening segment thing. Like, what was that to you? What was that? That
was high school.
Like, I don't know. It just felt like it was like, not only we think we're going for the younger demographic, but the younger demographic has porn on their phones. They don't need to be titillated by slightly scantily clad women. It's the 65-year-olds who don't know how to put porn on their phones. They're the ones who get excited by a woman sitting on her bed texting.
That's right? Also like not what women do. I hate to break it to you, fellas. We don't just like lay around.
You're gonna shatter their illusions. Stop it.
Yeah, especially since the beginning of COVID, jeans are like the sexiest thing we wear. It's usually sweatpants and hoodie. I don't know what to tell you. We also don't have naughty pillow fights at sleepovers, which I'm sure will be next week's segment. I don't understand going after Tony D'Angelo at all. I don't understand how they cross paths in any way.
Aren't they all heels? isn't that the whole point? But I guess they
Tony D is a tweener at this point, though. Honest to God, like he's
I don't
so
know.
over.
He really is. We'll talk about him right now because they started out the show.
We love him.
Started out the show with Tony D versus Petey Poppins. Tony D showing up in the family limo.
I should have made a.
Yeah,
that's on me.
Should have made one of those. This match was fun, right?
It was great. I really liked this match. There were a lot of really creative spots in this.
A lot of creative spots.
I don't get the booking.
Well, here's we'll find out by the end what their plans are for everybody. But it did feel weird to me. I thought like Pete Dunne loses and gets called up, but apparently no. So I don't know. I mean, if there's anybody ready to actually try it on a bigger stage, it's Pete Dunne. Like, give him a shot to try it at least. You know, it's a weird thing that they won't, but the match was very good. There was one thing about it that I was like, there was one thing that could have been made a lot. Yes, one thing that could have been made a lot. I loved the spot of, well, I'm going to put you in zip ties. And I really enjoyed Pete Dunne figuring out ways of still fighting back while in zip ties behind his back. And he gets him into a guillotine. And while in the guillotine, Tony D is searching through this toolbox that they have in the ring. And he's taking things out of it and toss them around. Eventually, he gets some snippers, some wire cutters, and he snips the zip ties so that he can break free of the guillotine. But there was a whole bunch of stuff that he was throwing away that was in the toolbox that he could have used to just whack Pete Dunne over the head until he fell asleep. And I thought there was a great opportunity for them to have thrown things out of there earlier. And when he goes in there, the only thing he's got are the snippers. And he looks at him and he goes, oh, and he snips off the thing. Like, have him be smart enough to realize the only thing I can do with this, which is the only thing I have at my disposal, is to snip the zip ties, as opposed to, well, this is a heavy wrench. I can't do anything with that. Well, this is a scissors. I can't do anything with that. Like, no, like he should have used the heavy things, the blunt objects to hit Pete with. Other than that, I thought that this was actually really well put together. Some of the spots were really cool. I was not prepared for the kick out to the first bitter end.
Yes,
and
same.
For the kick out to Tony's finisher, the now modified sleep with the fishes driver. Like, I thought that was great. But the second bitter end onto the remnants of the table was a really cool spot. And I totally get, if you're going to do the spot, don't kick out of it. But I thought Tony D was winning because I thought we were having Tony D move on to face Carmelo Hayes for the North American Championship, which if Tony D won, he would rename the Italian American Championship, which I think would be amazing. But he lost to Pete Dunne, which is no shame in that. Pete Dunne's great, but I thought we were done with Dunne.
You thought we were Pete Dunne?
I thought we were Pete Dunne with Pete Dunne in NXT, but apparently we're not. And if he's going to stick around, then I'd rather him get a title shot against Braun Breaker than Dolph Ziggler. Like, if he's around and he just come off a big feud victory versus Tony D, like, why are we giving title shots to guys who lose on the main roster constantly, as opposed to one of the greatest performers in NXT history who hasn't had an NXT title shot in years now at this point? Like, so straight up one-on-one.
Here's what I think they think, because I mentioned this before. Yeah. I think they think sending a guy like Ziggler is a good way to get a temperature read on a guy like Breaker. The problem with that logic to me is you can also do that with Pete Dunne. Yeah. Like, I don't think Pete Dunne, Pete Dunne offers the same value as Ziggler in that specific way. I think Ziggler is a hell of a talker. I think he's a hell of a salesman. I don't think you can even remotely argue that. So I think he's gonna bump for Breaker like a Breaker, excuse me, like a maniac. But I think their thinking is, this is one of the best guys we got on the main roster in the ring, even though we never actually reward it. Let's go see what Breaker looks like against him. But I think you could also do that with Pete Dunne. I'm just very confused about why all these people wrestle dark matches to not get called up. I'm confused about the timing of those dark matches to not get called up if you're not going to use them in Rumble or in mid-card title feuds on the way to WrestleMania. But I guess you have to leave room for the possibility of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. Shaka29 says they see value in Dunne, just like Ali. Well, he does have incredible value. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. The problem is that his type of wrestling has a ceiling in WWE. It shouldn't. He's proven that he can be a fantastic champ and can wrestle guys any size, any style. He can work against. And I think if you don't like the way he cuts promos, find somebody to be a mouthpiece for him. He actually has an actual mouthpiece in his mouth, but a different mouthpiece an actual
a metaphorical,
not a literal mouthpiece, but like, a
metaphorical mouthpiece,
a figurative one.
He's a pro wrestler in a sports entertainment company. That's what we're really, really starting to shake out and tune into.
Yeah, I love Pete Dunne. I've loved Pete Dunne since the very first NXT UK tournament. I thought that guy found really interesting ways of being a shithead to everybody he wrestled. Like, it wasn't just the same note thing over and over again. He was different depending on who he was wrestling. I was a huge fan of his NXT UK title run. The match with Tyler Bate where he became champion, the match with Walter where he lost it, everything he's done since coming stateside. I love Pete Dunne. I just think there's nothing more for him to do here, unless you actually are going to put a belt on him, which I still don't think you're going to do.
And it's so hard because AEW is starting to top out. Even with Cody leaving, it's a very, very crowded roster. And if you are looking for a third voice, and that third voice for you is Impact, that's still not the place for a guy like Pete Dunne, in my opinion. I think Impact, actually, especially of late, is doing really great stuff. But that NXT AEW feeling guy is not what Impact is really about. There, I feel are much more X Division and the Knockouts, and then very, very, very character driven. So I don't this is where, and I know I'm an ROH mark and I say it all the time, but this is where ROH being only a super indie, the timing of it is so painful. So it's just kind of nah,
Yeah, I'm a big believer in Pete Dunne. I think he can do whatever, wherever. But I'm realistic about what they see as people's ceilings, what Vince and co see as people's ceilings in WWE, and I want the world for him, but I just don't think he's going to get it here. I am very excited. By the end of tonight, spoiler alert, they're teasing the next program for Carmelo Hayes is Pete Dunne, which should be a fantastic, amazing match. Yes. I have nothing bad to say about what that could be. I think that Pete Dunne has graduated beyond NXT North American champion, loser of the title match. Now he's gone to NXT championship, loser of the title match. I think because I don't think he's going to beat either of them. So I'd rather see him up against the biggest stage possible.
And I am a little bit more forgiving with NXT 2.0 as far as matches with foregone conclusions, because it's developmental. That I do feel I give some leniency on, because my expectations for storylines are a little bit different because of the purpose that they're there. So I think I'll be able to enjoy that match, even though I know who's going to win it, because I think it'll still be a very good match. And I'm I get it, because you see Carmelo Hayes as someone in your future, and so you need to build him up. So I'm not mad about that, but it does, like you said, put a ceiling on guys like Pete Dunne, who are incredibly skilled. that just aren't gonna. They can't even go to 205 Live anymore. Damn it.
Yeah.
Where is like Cedric Alexander gonna go? Like, I'm guessing we're getting another round of cuts.
Well, there's no way that's the last ever. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like imminent. You know what I mean? Like post Mania.
Post Mania, there's always cuts. There's
Yeah.
always cuts post Mania. So we'll see. I mean, if they're doing cuts post Mania, and they're cutting other people, and they're not going to cut the guy who wants to be cut, I think we need to like march on Washington or something. I don't know.
That will legitimately draw enough criticism that I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think they have to do it because I think stakeholders at that point would be like, what is going on here? Because you keep claiming budget cuts and you cut 200 people except for the guy who wants.
And you made $1 billion last year. I think you got.
They made $1 billion. Yeah.
Mark,
but they used that justification up to Toni Storm.
Yes.
Like, that's what's insane. They were like, well, we can't keep her around because we claimed budget cuts on all this other stuff. And it was
but she has no value, Kate. Like a girl, you know, mid-20s who can work, who looks great.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
You can do face or heel. There's no value in her.
There's no value in her.
No.
But there's a guy with value who's sitting on our bench.
Mm-hmm. Tremendous value.
So much value.
To somebody else.
Yeah.
Not to us.
We can't let him
We would
go.
never use him, but we know they will, and they'll make tons of money with him. So yeah. Mark Losper says, hello to my KLX fam on this completely not newsworthy day where nothing important has happened whatsoever. Dipping in and out because I have shoot work to do. Unfortunately, shoot work always sucks. Have a great show. You two rule.
The only thing you ever did for the show was literally buy us an extra half hour of time for a month. And you think you can just do the thing that you get paid to do?
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
Terrible. Raquel and Cora had a cute little segment, I suppose.
No, I hated this.
Like it's again, it's like it is. They really see something big in Cora Jade, and she's so young. She has so much potential to grow into something really great. I don't see it right now, but I don't need to see it right now. She's like a baby. I'm not going to look at a baby and go, why aren't you running the 40-yard dash in 4 seconds? You're a baby. You're not supposed to yet. She's got room to grow, and she's already at a really good spot. But they're trying to do something with this where she gets woken up at 5 a.m. by Raquel Gonzalez, who says, what are you doing? Only losers sleep past 5 a.m. We got to go work out.
It's about power.
That's right. We got to go work out so we can win the Dusty Classic. And they go to the PC. And Cora says, I didn't even know it was open this early. And then they lift weights, and Raquel lifts more weights than Cora Jade because she's much larger. And then they go outside, and I don't know how long they were in I don't know how long they were in the PC for, where there are no windows, but when they went outside, it was noon. So because there was a sun high in the sky when they were shooting that scene, and they're running around a park. And then Raquel says, I'll see you next tomorrow, same time. And Cora Jade's like, oh, I look forward to it. So apparently every day, Cora Jade has to wake up at 5 a.m. to trade for this Dusty Classic, which she's not going to win.
I have so many questions. Mm-hmm. Why does the Dusty Classic, which is just a tag team tournament, require so much additional training as if it's not still just wrestling a match?
Right. Yeah.
That's confusing. I don't understand how someone who dislocated her shoulder in War Games is needs to train to be tough enough, considering that that was her threshold for pain.
Yeah.
The acting in this was god awful.
Yeah.
But they love god awful backstage segments, so
they do.
God bless them.
This was by far not the worst backstage
not even close
segment on the show,
which is so sad.
Which is just So it's the deal is that the in-ring tonight was the worst match was a good match. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the best matches were great matches.
We love that about it.
But everything else, it's like the people who are in the ring, the wrestlers, are learning on the fly, getting better all the time. Good for them. Especially since a lot of them have no experience in this, did not have several years on the indies. They're getting better all the time. Credit to them for learning their craft, and for the coaches for helping them learn their craft, and for the producers who are setting out really good matches and letting them wrestle. Good. That's great. No credit to the people in creative who are having these people, all of their time is spent in the ring, apparently, learning how to do wrestling moves and working together and getting better at that stuff, which is a very big part of the craft. But it's your company where you insist people do stupid backstage segments. And because it feels like you handed them a script for this stupid backstage segment 5 minutes before you said, okay, we're rolling. Like, you have to spend at least as much time teaching them how to be performers outside of the ring, mic skills, how to work at comedic timing if you're going to make them do comedy skits. What's their character? How does their character play outside of the ring as opposed to how does their character play inside the ring? You're doing none of the other stuff and writing skits for them that they can't possibly perform because they have no training in that area and no natural talent. And that's not their fault.
You know what's the most confusing part about this? This isn't even close to anything they're doing on the main roster. Yeah. Like, they don't do this on the main roster. So what are they developing? Because, like, there's some not so great backstage segments, but they are not high school plays on the main roster. So, like, the skill that nobody's good at is also irrelevant. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about the worst segment when we get to it, I guess. Indi and Persia versus Toxic Attraction. Toxic Attraction. This was fine. Perfectly cromulent professional wrestling. Toxic Attraction won. Indi and Persia lost.
They defended the belts. We should give them a round of applause for that.
Good for them. They won the belts in October, defended them in February, just like clockwork. They'll defend them again in July. It'll be fine. Great.
Persia is a powerhouse. She had a lot of really, really great moments of strength in this. There was one ring psychology gap that we need to talk about because your champion looks like a fucking moron in this. At one point, Mandy Rose got banned from ringside because what she did was throw her opponent back in the ring, which is not like egregious. And instead of just tagging her out like anybody could do, Indi Hartwell was just appalled that Mandy Rose, who didn't beat her down, just threw her back in the ring as if you couldn't just crawl right back out, tag your tag team partner, and her throwing her opponent, basically being a lumberjack, but just one, got her banned from ringside, even though there were like 8 other solutions that were sitting right there. Really, really bad. I don't know what was supposed to happen in that spot, but that was one of those things that takes you out of it, not because you're just like, oh, if they had done this, this, or this, that was like a what happened moment for me. Like, ooh, not great.
I was trying to remember this match 2 minutes after it finished, and I couldn't remember any individual thing that happened. I didn't remember, but that means I don't remember anything bad, but I don't remember anything good. And I was like, oh, that was the thing, the double Samoan drop where both Gigi and GJ were on the shoulders of Persia, and she double Samoan drop. And that was all I could remember 2 minutes after the match finished, which doesn't speak too highly of it, but doesn't speak like, oh God, that was terrible. Because if I watch a bad match, I will remember the bad things. It was just there and good, which is fine. It was a 5.5, 6 out of 10 match. All right.
It was somewhere between here.
It was part nah, part heart. It was nart. It was a nart match.
This is way too much fun. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Yeah.
It happened. I felt like there were some. I mean, I can't remember them off the top of my head, so it's probably not great. But I was just like, I remember being impressed by Persia in this match. I think she had a pretty cool power bomb in there, maybe somewhere. But I remember
Persia's always impressive, but I feel like it's just like.
But like I remember her, she was good in that she slowed the match down in spots and was very strong. And I appreciate that specifically in women's matches because I think when they get sloppy, it's usually because I think people are moving too fast and getting ahead of themselves.
Sure.
Persia's a good like differential in pace from everybody else that was in the match. But it was perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
It was Nart.
It was Nart.
It was a Nart match.
W. Pringle that says this cromulent wrestling embiggened my unhappiness switch. NXT 2.0.
Nice SAT super chat, JW Pringle.
Well, that is a Simpsons reference, which you don't get. But
I don't.
No.
I thought you just leveled up your vocabulary.
No, it's a joke because there's a famous saying the founder of the town that Simpsons takes place in. He says, "A noble spirit embiggens the smallest man," and then they're showing a film strip in the class about that guy, and one teacher turns to the other one and says, "Embiggens." That's not even a word. No, you're completely wrong. It's a perfectly cromulent word. Cromulent also not being a word, and so I said cromulent is like it's a perfectly fine normal word. That's what I think cromulent means. So whenever I say it's a perfectly cromulent wrestling, that's what that is. That's explaining the joke. It's too much.
Is it Malcolm and Biggins?
Yeah.
I'm hysterical.
Damned auto Corvette. JW Pringle says with, not switch. Damned auto Corvette.
The worst.
What's the worst? Wendy Chu is like she's asking Amari Miller to the dance. So what are you doing for the Dusty Classic? Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody asked me last week. If you had asked me before, I would have totally told you. But thanks for buying me all that stuff with a stolen credit card. But I can't. I already said I would tag with somebody else. And Wendy's like, no, it's totally fine.
Who's she tagging with again? Did she say?
No.
Did Mari Cooper say who it was?
Because I don't think that they've decided who she's tagging with. Anyway. When Wendy Chu goes and sees Dakota Kai, who is talking with somebody who's not there. And I would like to see a Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu tag team, but I don't think it's actually,
Just make someone up that Amari Cooper is tagging with. Just pull a name out of damn
I think it's Amari Miller. Because I think Amari Cooper is a wide receiver for...
That is correct.
Yeah. Used to play for the Raiders and the Cowboys. I don't know who he plays for now. I haven't watched football in a long time.
Correct. I actually met him at the NFL Combine 3 years ago.
I would like to see Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai in a tag team, if only because it would be fun.
I think it would be very fun. It would be very fun.
Grayson Waller shows up at the PC with actual policemen. Like those guys were actually those guys were off-duty SWAT officers. They were in full riot gear minus the helmets. Normally it's like these guys are obviously like at least they used to do this. They were obviously full sail security guards, like walking around in their little short sleeve shirts with nothing on their belts and big old tubs where their guts should be. And it was never it was like, these are not policemen. Oh, okay. These are actual policemen. Or at least they got really good, really good costumes. He says, we're going to go and arrest LA Knight. So he goes, hey, they get to the ring. LA Knight's in the ring. He gets to the ring and he says, officers, I want you to look at the videotape. Like Exhibit A, officers. Before you arrest this man, I have to show you what he's done to me on the Titantron. And the officers are like, well, we'll have to watch this. I just thought that was hilarious. Oh boy.
This is how you arrest someone. For violating a restraining order.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah.
If you violate a restraining order, all you have to do is be within a certain distance of someone. You don't have to prove why that restraining order that you already have was issued by someone beating you up in a wrestling ring. None of this makes sense.
Well,
None of it.
No, but yeah, it's the idea. Yes, all of it. I mean,
I tune into wrestling for the restraining orders,
well,
Alex.
Yes, for the basically you want a really good high drama lawyer show. That's what you need. You've
Dun,
been
dun.
served. Dun dun. Yeah.
I got Olivia Benson for that. All right.
Yeah,
I don't need LA Knight wrapped up in this program.
So we've got we then LA Knight, and this isn't fair to him. Somebody wrote in his script and he memorized it and said it. He pulls, he's holding onto a microphone and he has the stupid restraining order in a manila envelope. And while holding a microphone, he has to reach into the vanilla envelope with like two fingers and pull out the restraining order, then gets rid of the envelope. And he's trying, like, it says here, he says in the microphone, it says here on page 2 of the restraining order. Let me see if I can flip to page 2 while holding a microphone. Just have it say it on page 1. Or how about this? Have it there only be one page of the restraining order. We'll allow it. Or how about this? Don't have it come in an envelope. Have him holding one piece of freaking paper and he reads it off of the paper. Why are you making it so much harder for your actors? In the theater, we would fire the prop master. We'd be like, what are you doing? It says I have to look at the thing. I have to hold this whiskey glass while I'm talking about the thing. How am I supposed to get the thing out of the envelope while holding the whiskey glass? There's nowhere for me to put it down. You'd get into arguments with overzealous. Well, actually, I think it'd be better if you pulled it out of the envelope. And then on most restraining orders, the clause about would never be on page 1. I don't care. Nobody cares. Just do it so it's easier for the performer. It doesn't make him look like
Why
idiot.
doesn't a cop have a copy of the restraining order?
That should have also been handed to the police before the warrant was served.
Stupid. Why do these cops not care that people get kidnapped in the NXT parking lot? Here's what I love about it. All right, I'm going to tell you what I love about it.
Now we got to talk about it like this because they did the super chat with the heart with the nah. So there we go.
Well, you know what I love about it. I love that LA Knight.
I love the Larry Knight. I think he's very nice. He's a very nice boy. Listen, my 7th husband was served a lot of restraining orders, not by me, but by other people. And so I know what happens with it. But listen, I understand the clause about the other thing. It always happens on page 2 because I've read a lot of restraining orders. But I don't care. It made Larry Knight look like an idiot with him trying to fumble inside an envelope. I don't want to see that anymore. Just make it easier on your performers.
I agree. And I think this LA Knight fella has a bright future on the main roster. I will say in this segment, I do appreciate that he is a little more experienced. There is definitely a difference between the experienced fellas and ladies who have worked TV before and the ones who have not. And I think he's very valuable in this way. But I think he should be moving up.
Would you say he has so much value?
He has so much value.
He's got so much value that they can't possibly release him ever.
That you can't release him for another, I don't know, 2.5 years.
At least.
You know what I would say?
Even if he would have asked nicely, they would say, I'm sorry, you've got so much value.
You got so much value. He is delicious. I could just eat him up and all of the magic that he brings.
Mm-hmm.
Could just like with some sort of magic spoon.
Cameo. What's up, you guys? It's Sean Ross Sapp. I'm not here physically on the show right now, but I still wanted to tell you about how I'm starting my day no matter where I am with delicious Magic Spoon cereal. 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, only 140 calories per serving. Keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb. It is the ultimate breakfast food. It's the ultimate snack food, and it's the ultimate food for me to take while I'm traveling. Quick, easy, all the flavors you love. Peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, maple waffle, cocoa, fruity, frosted, all over the place. That cookies and cream and maple waffle are back permanently. And if you go to magicspoon.com/Fightful, grab a custom bundle of cereal, try it today. Use our promo code FIGHTFUL at checkout to save $5 off your order if you don't like it. They are so confident in their product. It comes with a 100% happiness guarantee. They'll refund your money, no questions asked, if you don't like it, but you will. It's perfect before, after workouts, as a snack. And my favorite thing about it is you get filled up with one serving. It's not running back and forth to the cupboard to get more, racking up those carbs, racking up those calories. magicspoon.com/Fightful. Use that code FIGHTFUL.
You know what I appreciate about Magic Spoon, other than their delicious flavors and their protein-packed product?
Mm-hmm.
It's what's on the inside that counts. It's not the spoon that's magic. It's what's on it. It's what's in the box. It's what's on the inside. So that's what Sean Ross Sapp has for you guys. Hey, that's Sean Ross Sapp, fella. He seems like the kind of guy that could lead a wrestling empire to 5,000 subscribers.
Please.
Doesn't he seem that way?
It's like 5,140 at this point. Like,
is it really?
Yeah, we're way up over it.
My goodness. So if you want to be cool, like 5,140 other people, still exclusive, but like, don't you want like
everyone else friends? Is doing it, so you should too.
If you don't, you're a bitch. And you people all need to go over to Fightful Select and subscribe. Huge influx today, which is really cool. So just thank you so much to everybody over there. More details on the Cody Rhodes stuff, and also the attempts to get Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the ring broke yesterday. Banana stuff happening on the Fightful Select, I tell you. Plus, you know who just like hangs out now and does pay-per-view paywall post shows with that alliteration? This guy and me. And you can get straight up sour graps about Raw and SmackDown, also from that guy on Fightful Select, and sometimes me. So go over there, $5 a month, less than a cup of coffee.
Yep. Also, for listening to a cup of coffee, you could put in a Humper Chat at humperchats.com and also Super Chat, so we don't get Sean coming in here in an hour being like, where are all the Super Chats?
You haven't made enough money. Well, Mark Losper already earned his keep today, sir.
Listen.
My goodness.
To this weekend, some point on Saturday evening, I'm going to maintain radio silence, media blackout for the entirety of Sands of Time, which is, of course, what I call anything that happens in Saudi Arabia, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. But Kate's going to watch it. And then later that evening, I'm going to sit here and Kate is going to tell me what happened. And you will all see me have an aneurysm in real time because I'll just be blindsided by terrible booking. It should be a lot of fun.
Alex might die.
You never know. But at least we'll have Kate here to finish out the rest of the show.
There will likely be some sort of cardiac event. It might not be lethal, but it's going to be something else. So it's also a lot of pressure on me to pay attention, but also less pressure on me to pay attention because you're not going to know.
No, I'm not going to know. Honestly, just tell in the chamber matches, tell me the order, tell me who eliminated who, tell me who won. Just tell me who won in these other matches that I don't really care about. There you go.
I could just be like, Cody Rhodes showed up and
you can also lie. You can also lie. Here's the thing. If Brock doesn't win, they got to figure out the most crazy, overbooked, wonky finish to figure out how to not pin Brock Lesnar in an Elimination Chamber match because they ain't pinning him this close to Mania. So you could lie and tell me that Cody Rhodes landed in a jetpack and kicked Brock Lesnar in the balls and then zoomed off into space. And I'd be like, really? That happened? I would have no idea.
It's going to be fun. I'm going to lie to Alex a bunch. So subscribe to Fightful Select and join us for that. There is also a free post show, but like, if you're gonna be cool and hip
come
enough
on.
to subscribe to Fightful Select, like hang
We
out.
all
with
know
us.
the exclusive club is the better one.
Yeah, we're really cool. But plugs out of the way. We can dive back into this.
Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler are going to have a match next week on NXT, which is cool. Ciampa's going to lose, which isn't cool. But Dolph Ziggler showed up to be interviewed. Ciampa got involved in his match on Raw last night because they're feuding. I appreciate they're doing cross-branded stuff, and I appreciate that they're giving Ciampa that opportunity to be seen on a bigger stage. I hope he gets a match with Ziggler on Raw as opposed to just doing this here. I don't know how that's going to work. But Ziggler was there, got interviewed, said some mean things about Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa cut a promo sitting in front of a garage door, talking about how Dolph Ziggler's come into his home and is disparaging him. And I wonder if any of this will come into play during the main event. We'll have to see.
What a cliffhanger from Alex.
Yeah. Cameron Grimes versus Carmelo Hayes. Humped. It humped. There was a lot of humpage.
So great. Carmelo Hayes just like continues to impress me. That guillotine leg drop is awesome. He's so good at so many things about wrestling that are beyond the moves and the execution, which he also does very well. Really good at storytelling and that kind of presence that we talk about and the X Factor or whatever. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing and why he's doing it in every second of the match, and I just really appreciate it. And he's getting really, really good at things like crowd interaction and connecting with them. And I feel like he now has the basics so down that he's able to funnel his energy into the more magical part of wrestling, which is not like, look at what that guy can do for the most part. Mm-hmm. Like, it's all coming together to tell the story. And that just came across so much to me here. I felt like this was so great. And Cameron Grimes is so great too. Not to take anything away from him. Really, really strong stuff in this match. But I just feel like Carmelo Hayes is someone that is growing up in front of our eyes in a really good way. And it's nice to see him be, I think, the next in line behind Breaker as far as like people that have, in my opinion, I know they have kind of positioned Grayson Waller, but like I think Carmelo Hayes has a much higher ceiling.
I think Carmelo Hayes' next step is the main roster. I think
just skip over his title picture with him.
I think Grayson Waller's next step is a championship and a longer stay in NXT. That's what I think. I think Carmelo Hayes is ready now to if you had him show up next week on the main roster, he'd be ready. I cannot say that for Grayson Waller.
Agreed entirely. You know? And I think, oh man, I hate to do this to Angelo Dawkins. I think Montez Ford has got to split from him at some point. And I think Montez Ford versus Carmelo someday is going to be a match that like we talk about for a long time. Like, I think that's going to be great someday.
Yeah. I don't know. There were Mark Losper mentions the fact that there was the banning of Mandy Rose for gently replacing Indi Hartwell back in the ring, and then Trick Williams was doing all kinds of crap during this thing, punching Cameron Grimes in the face and all this kind of stuff. But he's fine. There's no problem there. He says that I didn't know Rick Knox also got released from AEW and he's coming to NXT. Thank you, Mark. The crowd was super hot for it. Cameron Grimes is still as over as he ever was.
Yes.
When he was like originally to the moon guy. And everybody loves Carmelo because Carmelo is great. I will say that I expect more from my NXT audience to be smarter about stuff.
So you mean like as far as heel and face stuff go?
No, not necessarily that, but false finishes. Cameron Grimes has never won a match with a flying crossbody in his life. Like the 1, 2, like there's no way they're gonna end. They might end the match on a flash roll up, They might do that. Or if Cameron Grimes wins, it's going to be via a cave-in. He doesn't win with a flying crossbody, and the credulity that crowd gave the idea that Cameron Grimes was going to win off a flying crossbody was just unbelievable to me.
I don't know if I expect a crowd to be smarter than that. I would say on the roll-up, you could say it's probable at this point, the way those lethal roll-ups come into our lives. I need Vic Joseph to be smarter about it. And I also need him to stop being enthusiastic by like Carmelo Hayes sneezing. Like it is so interfering with my experience with the roll up and blah, blah. Like, oh my God, rein it in. I get that they're probably in his ear telling him to pump up the enthusiasm, but it is like, it detracts from the experience for me, like a lot. And it happened egregiously in this match and also in the main event. Like, just rein it in, pal.
Vic has certain standbys for the way that he says things. For example, no fewer than 14 people were beside themselves today. Oh, Carmelo Hayes beside himself. Trick Williams beside himself. Like actually said at one point. And I was like, come on. Both guys can't be beside themselves. Dolph Ziggler was beside himself. Like you could say it once. After that, it's like everyone's beside themselves.
I mean, then every match is a tag team match, which is interesting.
Yes.
It's like you're beside yourself. It's you and you versus someone else.
Me and my shadow. I really liked the match.
Loved the match.
Carmelo Hayes won. Clean-ish. Like Trick Williams got involved earlier in the match, but not during the finish.
He had an appropriate amount of interference today.
He did. I will never call it an unclean finish if the second to the heel shoves the heel out of the way and takes a move on the outside. That to me is that's why you have the guy there to help you in that situation. I think I will still call it a clean victory. I thought that was fine. I love Carmelo Hayes. Cameron Grimes looked great as he always does, but like I don't know what we're gonna do with Cameron Grimes now. Earlier in the night we saw Indi and Persia talking about how they're going to enter the Dusty Classic and they're going to win and they're going to get the titles. And then Dexter came in and took Indi and Persia looked jealous. And then Duke Hudson walked up shirtless again. That man just can't buy a shirt. And he used to wear a vest and no shirt, but now he's a shirt guy anyway. And he's like, I know what you want, and puts out his hand, palm up, and she puts her hand in his and walks away, which I thought was very romance. Like anytime a man walks up to me and puts out his hand, palm up, I'm like, oh, are we going to a dance floor? I don't hear music, but it looks wonderful.
A love connection.
Yeah, it was a love connection right there.
We have so many. Look, we have a lot of this on the show. A lot of romance.
Yeah.
And not just because it's the day after Valentine's Day. In fact, it's Vengeance Day, according to them.
Yeah.
So
true.
We got to talk about how many love angles there are because it's too many.
Too many.
You got
at least one too many. I'm willing to allow because I like Persia a lot and I like Duke Hudson even though he's shirtless. I'm willing to allow that
better shirtless sometimes.
Sometimes I do. He's a very well-built young man.
He is.
Strapping. I almost said something else and I'm not going to say it because this is a PG show. I was going to say strap on, but strapping is better. But anyway.
It is the PG era of Sarah Graps.
We got last night, Kate, I don't know if you watched Raw. Why would you? But
no, I love myself. No, I was actually on a different podcast.
Dana Brooke.
Oh, God.
And Reggie. They broke up as friends. Like Reggie wanted to take it to the next level, and so she friend zoned him, and then he rolled her up and became the new 24/7 champion. And they're running that storyline on Raw. And the next night on the same network, they run a the Beej really wants to get in the pants of Caden Carter. And he's like, I took her out took her out to see a show, and we had some dinner, and then went to at her place, and because she's a very independent woman, she paid for her meal. She insisted on it, and then we hugged at the door, and she said she loved me like a little brother. And then and his tag team partner, Double Vest, is like, "Did you have sex with her?" And he's like, "No, of course not, because she's an independent woman." It's like he didn't actually ask him that, but he seemed very disappointed that the woman said no. Like, well, what happened? Well, the woman said no, Double Vest. That's usually the end of things, isn't it? I know you're an NXT talent, but isn't that the end of it when the woman says no, right? Because he seemed very disappointed that Caden told the Beej no, and then he was like, and then what? There is no and then what when she told him no, Double Vest. Come on.
Did she... I genuinely can't remember from the segment, though. Didn't he just, off of the insinuation of, like, you took her home, how was it? And then I think that was supposed to be, like, a play off of the, like, you made it sound like you closed the deal and you did it, right?
As far as I remember, like, he had already been told by the Beej that nothing had happened. And then he was like, well, then what happened? No, there is no and then what happened.
That's it.
But anyway, they're like,
I was more taken aback by the incest joke that they made about being from Alabama. So it was hard for me to focus on that.
Yeah, it's true.
When they said, I know you're from Alabama, after he was like, she said she loved me like a little brother. Like, and then they called the bartender over for the most natural. This was just all around.
Right. The bartender, who's Fallon, who I don't believe we've actually seen wrestle or establish herself as a character. But they were like, Fallon, what are you doing here? I was like, I know who she is because I follow the wrestling. But the 68-year-old who is your target audience has no idea who this looker behind the bar is. But anyway, she's like, I guess.
Well, NXT doesn't pay like that much.
Right.
So
yeah,
she's got a bartend.
She got a bartend on the side. My family owns the place. I like to help her out here a lot. I don't know. Like, this was just bad in all kinds of ways. But like, you run one friend zone angle on Monday and a different one with different people on a different show the very next night, and you do it all with people who can't act for shit and have zero comedic timing. And this is not on them. They are being asked to do something they cannot handle.
And even if they could, it would suck. So, like, it's all bad because
why do this to the people who you are paying to look good on the shows, though?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't even know why there's this many romance angles in general. Never mind this many bad ones. Like, it's bad.
Phil Lindsay from Grapsity says that NXT 2.0 is basically WWE's version of MTV Undressed, and he's right.
Joel Pearl says high school, which is fair. It feels very much like that too.
Yeah.
But Joel is awful. So
Joe is wrong. Joel is wrong. You are right, and let me tell you why Joel is wrong.
Thank you.
Because he likes NXT 2.0 more than NXT Black and Gold. He was grasping at straws by like minute 5.
Oh, buddy, he was grasping at straws when we chose our sides. But if you want to hear me argue with Joel more, you can head over to Fightful Overbooked, where we have a counterpoint show called Here's Why You're Wrong, and I win every episode because Joel's the worst. Just kidding. Right. Joel's amazing. But anyway, it's just bad, and it is. Here's the thing. I get that it feels like high school in like the context that it's in. It's not supposed to feel like high school level acting alongside of that.
Right. Yeah.
It's bad. You got one gal who's married to a serial killer.
The-
You got everyone's trying to sleep with everyone in Toxic Attraction. Like, it's just bad. Nobody's trying to get it with Ivy Nile, which is insane. Come
Although,
on, she's
if
the
Double
Bayou
Vest
girl.
tried anything with Ivy Nile,
You get destroyed.
he'd have to have
He
his
would- he would
foot
die.
surgically removed from his own ass.
But that's the you go after. You don't go after Miss. Oh, I have a brunette. My whole personality is contingent on my hair color.
Yeah.
You don't go after like her minions. You don't go
Right.
after any of that. You go after the little badass.
Yeah.
Who can protect you? By the way.
It's true.
Ooh. Ivy Nile
speak-
and Tony D'Angelo on the same side somehow. Here for that.
Speaking of Ivy Nile, she's part of Diamond Mine. Also
She is.
part of Diamond Mine, the Creed Brothers. Creed Brothers had a match with MSK.
Which I just loved.
Yeah. I thought it was a really great match. And also, I thought it was about half as good as the Creed Brothers match from last week. Which, like to me, that to me shows what a great heel team can do for a up and coming babyface squad, because MSK wasn't wrestling heel, and not that they have to, but like by the end of that GYV match last week, I needed the Creed Brothers to win that match. And during this, I was like, this is a very good, highly entertaining contest between two great tag teams. And never did I have that feeling of I gotta see the Creed Brothers beat GYV, because it's the same. It's a different kind of wrestling, and the best wrestlers can overcome a face or a heel thing,
Of course.
because they can figure out a way to tell a story in the ring opposite of that kind of thing. And I'm not saying the Creeds won't get there eventually, but they're still very, very young at this. And it didn't speak to me in the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought there was nothing bad about this. There was one pump kick by Brutus Creed that missed, and then Wesley had to throw himself back into the turnbuckles, and it didn't look great. But
Bad
other than
camera
that,
angles too.
bad camera angle. But other than that, like, everything was fine, was better than fine, was very, very good. I just didn't have that extra oomph that I had last week, which is unfortunate, because you'd want your finals match to have that extra oomph.
Oh, God. But as a baseball fan, the amount of times you see a better ALDS or TS than a World Series, it kind of felt like that to me, where you're like, this is great, but man, the drama of the last thing.
Yeah.
So yesterday I got to sit in on the Shining Wizards podcast, and they had two guests, one of whom was Sam Adonis, and he said something really great that kind of clicked in the back of my mind during this, which was like, whenever anybody calls something like old school wrestling, not that he like got mad about it, but he's like, it's not old school, it's fundamental wrestling and storytelling. Like, it's not something that we should be evolving past stylistically. It's something we should be evolving with stylistically. And I was thinking about that a little bit in this, because last week had that. Last week had, like, I mean, just an incredibly giving performance from Grizzled Young Vets, but like that old school storytelling thing, that fundamental storytelling thing that gets you on the edge of your seat, where the story is unfolding, where this felt like a lot of really well executed moves with two really great teams that do what they do very well. But like that cohesion piece of it, not that it was missing from an execution standpoint, but like from a story standpoint, like that same tension wasn't there. I know what you're talking about. Like that juice isn't there. And I think that is kind of just like really, like, MSK does impress me quite a bit, but there is something about like that NWA feeling team or whatever that does something different that like clicks in. So I hear you on that. But like you said as well, like it's still definitely like gets a heart. The right team won. I also liked in the promo before that Bivens was like, the thing that you've been chasing around is still illegal in 13 states.
Oh, I love that.
What a great
Bivens
line.
is so great. He's so great. That is such a great line.
Because it did also, like, he's very good at this particular thing of let me say something that is attention getting, and then also kind of makes you think for a second about like, oh, that's such a great line. And then on top of that, like, yeah, it's like they haven't really given a shit about the Dusty Cup or the championships because they have been on this wild goose chase for the Shaman and all of this nonsense. Like, he's so good at pointing something out that gets your attention, and then this other layer, if you're kind of smarky like we are, that clicks in, and that really made me think about that of like, the story for MSK has not really been here. The story has been, we won last year and we love weed. Like, there hasn't been anything that's relevant to this year. And I appreciated when somebody does something like that. And if you asked me like who the 5 most valuable people in NXT are, one of them is Malcolm Bivens, in my opinion. Like, I feel like there's so many people that could benefit from him on the main roster. I know you threw Omos out there. I don't know. I think he's better than a storyline egg to get you engrossed in somebody. Like, I just so appreciate how many times we see, not that I want Diamond Mine to split up, but like, he makes things make sense and feel important so quickly. And that, like, just that one line had me bought into like, yeah, does MSK even give a shit about this? Like, I can get behind that. So, just really great stuff from him, as well as his not terrible towel that I appreciated.
Yeah. I really enjoyed all of this, and I'm very much looking forward to the Creeds versus Imperium.
They've grown so much. They've grown so
they really
much
have.
And I mean, amount of time.
and I liked them when they were on that weird. Like, I was like, who are these? The white AOP? Who are these guys? The walking loaves of white bread. They're fun. I mean, I know nothing about them, but okay. And now I feel like I know more about them because they've given us some chance to talk, but they seem to be really settling into their roles and
more cohesive. I feel like I've seen with them. Like, it's not just 2 guys who are really great. Yeah. Like, they're starting to function as a tag team. Which is
I really like how each of them seem to have their own roles. Like, they're very clearly defined, as opposed to, for example, Akam and Razar, who felt like they were just two sides of the same coin. But these guys seem to actually have their own personalities. I'm excited about their future, certainly. And as I said, though, I don't know what their ceiling really is. Like, are they future 2-time champs? Maybe.
I don't know, because I just don't know what tag team wrestling means to WWE right now. Like, I can't.
That was the thing that kind of made me angry when they show Dusty Rhodes like, I've always loved tag team wrestling. I think it's the best, great tag teams of yesteryear. I've always thought that they told the best stories in the ring. And I'm like, I agree with you, Dusty. The man who continues to piss on your grave doesn't. You know what I mean? And that's a problem. It's like, you by showing that film of Dusty saying great things about tag team wrestling, it implies that you agree with him, but we know that you don't. So, you know.
Yeah, I always like, and I think I've mentioned this before, and I know Sean has, like, FTR left not because they weren't getting booked, but because nobody gave a shit about tag wrestling in WWE, and they clearly have such a love for it. Like, every match of theirs is a love letter to tag team wrestling. So things like that, they just don't value tag team wrestling very much outside of flashiness. I feel like that's why we get the Usos and the New Day 100 million times. But I think their ceiling is high. It's just a matter of how high they'll let it be. Like, them versus Gable and Otis, sign me up for tomorrow, you know? So Gable can shush them. It'll be great.
Do you see on the 2K ratings came out today? A lot of the 2K ratings came out today.
I did not.
Yeah. Chad Gable, his rating came out today.
Oh, God.
76. You know who's a 79? Dominic Mysterio. And I nearly lost my mind.
I have to go. Chad Gable's one of my favorite. Like, he's
just one of the best wrestlers in the entire world. And
I've loved him in American Alpha. I loved it. Like, everything he's done to me has been great. And I'm also just a nerd. I mentioned I'm a Ziggler mark. Like, I'm a nerd for amateur style wrestlers. Like, I'm a fan. So
Luis Polito
Dominic
says,
Mysterio.
Luis Polito in our wonderful mod says, "Who made these goddamn ratings? That's bullshit." It's true. It is.
Well, you know what? Dominic Mysterio.
Mm.
I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio's son, depending on who you ask.
It's definitely his adopted son. We all know that Eddie Guerrero is his real father, but biological father. Rey, of course, is his real father. He raised him from a boy. But Eddie Guerrero, in canon, in kayfabe, it's never been refuted since. Was said out loud on television. Yes, Rey Mysterio said, "Yes, I acknowledge, Eddie. You are this boy's biological father, but I raised him. He's my son as much as he is yours." And nobody's ever gone back on that. So I would like to say congratulations to Dominic on the 18-year anniversary of your father winning the WWE Championship.
Ugh.
Rob Reed says,
Rey and Eddie is one of those matches, the Halloween Havoc, that I go back to. It's like just one of those. If I want to immediately change me being in a bad mood, that's it.
Rob Reed says, "I seriously need just one verbal exchange between Malcolm Bivens and Paul Heyman." Yeah, you got to get somebody for Malcolm to manage that's on the level of Roman or Brock, though, and I feel like those guys few and far between.
They don't need to be a challenger though, because there's these foregone conclusion losers.
That's true.
Two guys that do an incredible job of having charisma and making things make sense, though.
Right.
That is fun. I would love to see like all of Diamond Mine or Legado versus, like, I'm ready for a family feud, if you would, like two stables that are gonna chew through each other with the Bloodline and Legado. I feel like that excludes Bivens, but like you could easily do that with Diamond Mine if you wanted to as well.
Yeah, there was the potential months ago now for a fantastic Swerve and Hit Row versus the Bloodline thing you could have done. You could have sold me on that. The Legado versus the Bloodline. If they ever call up Imperium versus the Bloodline. Well, that's starting right now, apparently, because one of the Usos has picked a fight with Gunther. And I was so funny because I was like, are they gonna take this time to actually do the smart walk back? And they didn't, because it was like they're all standing out there, Imperium is with Walter in the middle. His name's not Gunther, it's Walter. And the crowd's going, Walter, which they're going to do forever. Walter, until the end of time. Walter, forever.
It's going to be the Daryl chant.
And he's standing out there like, yeah, this is going to happen every time, isn't it? And then they say, please welcome the NXT Tag Team Champions, Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner, and I think you said Gunther or something like that.
You said Gunther.
But she said something like, no, it is pronounced Gunther. And I was like, no, you should have said, no. Actually, I thought about it, and it was a really dumb idea for me to change my name from Walter to Gunther. Everyone seemed really upset. Like I read a whole think piece about it. Like I did not realize what kind of firestorm I was going to create when I chose this thing. Like it was a big mistake. So I just want to say, my bad. And I'm Walter again. Everybody happy? Good? Okay, cool. Anyway, let's proceed with the segment.
Very humble and casual.
They could have done that. They had the opportunity.
Or, I don't know, in my notes, in raging capital and bold letters, I said, maybe not call attention to his fucking name.
Yeah, no. Mark Losper
Why
says,
did you go out of your way?
Gunther, who's that? I only know Walter. There's only Walter.
You're damn right. You're damn right. Yeah. We pop for the humble Gunther Walter. My bad spot. Every time.
That'd be good. It'd be great if he did. He didn't, but it'd be great if he did.
I would love that. But what they did with it?
Yeah.
Nah, brah.
Yeah, no. But anyway, they're
This
cutting a
is
promo
harder
about
than it
something.
looks.
They got and then we got Solo Sikoa, Blonde Uso, coming out and like you were about to say the mat is sacred. Well, that mat don't mean shit to me. And I was like, okay. The only it doesn't matter. I'm gonna bust you in your mouth. I don't know what he said, but I was just so excited. I was like, I wasn't thinking straight. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Solo Sikoa versus Walter is gonna be great. Solo Sikoa is gonna lose his first match, but it's gonna be versus Walter. Like I always love when like you got a guy and you've built him up and he's undefeated and he's not losing anybody, but then you figure out a way to like it's to put him in a match that it's okay for him to lose to that guy. Like Tony D was undefeated and he lost to Pete Dunne. There's no shame in that.
So what? Yeah.
So Sikoa is undefeated. He's going to lose to Walter. There's no shame in that. You don't have to worry about like having a guy have a 10-month undefeated streak and then you forget about the fact that he's undefeated and he loses to some stupid roll up. You know, they haven't done that before.
No,
so, like,
never.
It's a lot better when you actually say, okay, this guy is on a hell of a hot streak, but he came up against a guy who's a little better than he is tonight. I think that's fine. And so Sikoa versus Walter is going to be crazy.
I have a better idea for you.
Yeah.
Build this up for a couple more weeks. Some words are exchanged. So Sikoa says, if I beat you, you gotta go back to being Walter. And Walter loses.
I'd like that.
Perfect. And then he goes, and if you lose, we call you Blonde Uso for the rest of your time in NXT.
Yeah.
Blonde Uso versus Walter is what that match should be.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm with you in that, like, call the dude up because I don't know if he's going to be doing champions things. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be an NXT champion. He might be like a North American champion. He might be a champion. I don't know. But just, it's so there right now.
Level Up Championship is a great idea.
Shouldn't be. You can't do championship without vowels. That's very hard. But I feel like the bloodline is going to run its course soon. I think when Roman drops, that whole thing is going to fall apart. So I'm like, capitalize while you can. Pull that guy up. He's good enough in the ring. He doesn't have to be the world's best talker. You have Paul Heyman right there and like 4 other guys. So
and I actually dig like Solo Sikoa's promo style. I think it's perfectly fine for him. Yeah.
He's very just very smooth, very cool, very chill. He kind of fits in with this version of Roman because Roman is like so kind of like stoic and never gets overwhelmed by anything. Like he kind of falls, like nests under that very easily. I don't know why we're getting the goofy ass new Usos again. That's been very confusing to me, but I think it just makes more sense to pull him right up into it because it's such a natural story and he's shown he's good in the ring and he's decent enough on the mic for sure.
No, it's very simple. It's so simple in the build up to WrestleMania.
Simple,
it's so simple. It's so simple for the
simple.
Yes, during the build to WrestleMania, Roman sends the Usos after right. He sends the Usos after Brock, and he decimates them time after time, and then they lose the tag belts to who I don't give a shit. And he's pissed. And he's like, all right, well, I had to bring in the big guns. I had to go back. I had to go to the island and bring back the guy from the island. Like, you can never have a thing. Earlier, they're like they had him go away for one episode of SmackDown because he was training for his match versus Brock at day 1, and then he went to Samoa. Like, have him go to Samoa for a week, and when he comes back, he's got Blonde Uso with him, and it's like this is our cousin or whatever you want to call him, and like give him Solo Uso is a great fucking name. Solo Uso's fine.
Ooh, I'll take it. Question for people in the chat. Would you like a spin-off show of Sour Grabs where you nominate things that you've seen this week in wrestling and you have Alex book it better?
We'll call it.
Everybody say yes.
Fixed it for you.
Yeah. Everybody say yes because selfishly I want that show. But this would be an example of one of those things.
You just have to be there so that I don't get lonely. Because
I'll be there.
I don't want to do that by myself.
I'll be like, your next topic is.
Yeah, should be the host.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you get like 5 minutes to come up with something better, and we time it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Lots of yeses in the chat. Let's go.
There are 3 yeses in the chat. Okay,
there's more.
There's lots.
There's more. There's more. This is undecided. That I think is actually my favorite. An enthusiastic yes.
Yeah.
There we go. If the Ceases weren't watching Kentucky basketball, they would be in on that.
Okay. So,
here's
come here, comparing to what I just did to Adam Blampier. Adam Blampier will talk for 48 minutes and have an amazing 8-month plan for the booking. I just here, just do this thing. I talked about it for 2 minutes. It's done. It's better than what you're doing. I'm moving on. I'm not gonna go into a huge crazy lot. This is how they should rebook this thing. No. That's good. How hard is this?
We'll just call it. It cannot be this hard.
How hard is this?
How hard is this, you say?
How hard is this, I say?
Not hard enough, because in order for it to be that much harder, why, you would need BlueChew.
Your penis is soft. Let me help. Not like that. BlueChew.com. Code Fightful. BlueChew brings you the first chewable with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it's ready when you are. Or when you're not. It's not about having a problem. It's about having that performance, that excellent performance, that confidence. Fill out their online questionnaire. You work with an online physician. You won't have to wait in line at the pharmacy or the doctor's office. It's shipped discreetly and directly to you, and you get that first shipment free when you use that code FIGHTFUL at checkout. You want to be confident, don't you? You want that pay-per-view, that main event performance. Don't let yourself or somebody else down. Use BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFul.
I'm going to be out of a job if JW Pringle sets up segues. That was incredible. He's gonna replace me in my own family. He's gonna replace me on here.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, JW Pringle. Hey, since we're plugging things, subscribe to Fightful Select. Send in your super chats. Send in your humper chats.
Yep.
Most of them are for impressions in Cody Rhodes. So if you have anything to say about the show, feel free.
Normhausen, who is a 10-month member. Thank you, Normhausen. For Linda and Sheila, does the third Uso or Walter, not Gunther, end up being Rex Breaker Steiner so he can move up and be Roman at Summerfest? Well, I really enjoy the solo Uso. I think he's wonderful. I'm very pleased to see that the burns have cleared up from his face. Apparently he's been moisturizing. He looks very good now. Been a few weeks. The dermatologist has worked wonders. And I like the Walter. Not so much a big fan of the Gunther, but I do like the Walter. I'm not really sure. I would love either of them as a possibility to dethrone the Rex Steiner, the Braun Breaker. But I do fear that we're not so lucky, and it's going to be the Grayson Waller who does the dethroning, unfortunately. I don't necessarily know that they're going to dethrone him even. They might just have him, abdicate the throne or whatever, or have you vacate the championship when he moves up to the main roster. Then they'll have some kind of scrum for it, a multi-man ladder match, a battle royal, what have you. And then the winner of that will be the Grayson Waller via some kind of chicanery.
I agree with you. I think that Grayson Waller needs the title for the positioning, whereas I think the others are proving their value without the title, which I think is actually a testament to them that they don't need the title. And I think, with all of the uncertainty now, who knows what's going to happen? I can't say. But it certainly does seem like this Grayson Waller is being positioned as the top heel. And
eventually, once he gets through this Larry Knight fellow.
Once the Larry Knight loses and hopefully himself gets called up to the main roster. I would
like to see that myself, yes.
You got to have your top bad guy dethrone the top good guy, I think. And I think Breaker loses. I think that would be a feather in the cap for this Grayson Waller, who I do not like.
No, I don't like him at all.
I don't like him at all. He's nasty.
But if there's one thing that I have learned in my between 48 and 84 years on this planet, it is that whatever I don't like, that is what the WWE will book.
I did not realize your age was an inverse of each other.
It's
until
I
this moment.
somewhere between 48 and 84, whatever you are feeling on that day, that's how old I am.
You know, you're as young as you feel.
It's true.
8 husbands in 48 years is a lot. I will say that.
They were all whirlwind romances.
I understand. I was there. I mean, I've seen them. I was on the altar at 6 of those 8 weddings.
You were indeed.
I got many addresses from those weddings. Not always my style, but some were.
Yeah. Speaking of not my style, Nikita Lyons. I saw some people who actually thought that they saw the outrage that people had at her being a white girl rapper. They're like, hey, let's change her whole gimmick. Now she's a ninja. And I was like, actually, apparently she was doing that on the 205 Live before it changed to the Level Up. But no, she's still a white girl rapper who's also a ninja and a kickboxer. And also
and now a dancer.
She is her own backup dancer, which is hard to do.
And a bouncer.
And a bouncer. She's a bouncer and a guitar player.
She is a hip hop dancer, rapper, nunchuck wielding bouncer.
Tale as old as time. If I had a nickel for every kickboxer / white girl rapper / bouncer / ninja / guitar player / daughter of a groupie that I have met in my life, I would have 2 nickels.
Who is the other one?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Alex. They gotta get to a point where it's addition by subtraction. They gotta pull things away from Nikita Lyons instead of adding them. It's so bad. I saw this and I was like, nah. I did not love this one bit.
There is nothing more satisfying than nailing a routine.
No, it's the same satisfaction as
the same sasatisfaction?
It's the same
I get the same satisfaction from nailing a routine as I do from
like beating
somebody up.
Basically beating someone.
And I was like, how would you know? Because I watched you do the routine in this promo, and let me tell you, honey, you didn't nail it.
Didn't crush it.
No.
See, what it was, Alex, was her dad sat her down and was like, you gotta stop beating people up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like they started with, I kept beating people up, and so my dad funneled me into these other 5 activities that I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a bouncer. Like, holy shit, is this in the weeds?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you come. I don't know. She hasn't debuted yet, and I don't know how you come back from this. Like, this is just bad. Like,
the thing is, she's got an interesting look. I know she's got actual experience. Like,
she's experience in a lot of things.
No, but like actual wrestling experience. Like, she was Faith the Lioness in World of blah 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 WOW. Like, I know she's got, but what you're doing is you're hampering any chance she has of getting over here by running these vignettes before she shows up. Like, whatever she does in the ring, I'm like, yeah, but the gimmick though. So just have her show up, and if she's not getting over by what she's doing, like on television, then run some vignettes to try and help her out.
You know what she's not doing in all of these vignettes? She's not keeping that same energy.
She's keeping very different energy.
The energy, it fluctuates.
I mean, I suppose she's the same. Like, I keep the same energy when I'm nailing a routine as I do when I'm nailing somebody in the face when I'm bouncing at my father's club, as I do when I am laying down a track. That's what they call it in the studio. When I'm laying down a track and dropping some fresh dope rhymes on my new track that I'm just gonna drop. My new track drops on Friday with the fresh dope rhymes on it. That's what and I'm keeping the same energy when I do all of that as I do when I use my nunchucks. Keeping the same energy with the nunchucks as I do when I'm laying down my fresh dope rhymes.
Now, have you done the hip hop? Because you sound like you just walked out of a recording studio yourself.
My nephew, he's into the hip hops, and he comes over and we talk.
Is he into the Migos?
He's into the Migos. He's the one who introduced me to the Migos. He said, Aunt Linda, you gotta listen to these. They're the Migos. Well, he said just Migos, but I call them the Migos.
There are people in the chat saying maybe she's actually a good wrestler, and some saying
that's not the point. I think
that's
the point.
The opposite of the
opposite of the thing. I think she might be a great wrestler. I mean, I don't. The vignettes are not helping. I hope that she shows up next week and she has an amazing match, and I can say all of the stuff that I'm making fun of. I'm not making fun of her necessarily. I am making fun of the idea that this is the way they want to present her, as all of these things when they could pick one. Like the idea that a kickboxer who looks like that's interesting. Let's do that.
Just do that one.
Just do that thing. And guess what? I believe a kickboxer would show up at a wrestling promotion and want to win titles.
No.
I have no idea why the daughter of a groupie who's also a white girl rapper would want to win. No. I don't know. That's dumb. So make her a thing that makes sense for her to be when she's a wrestler.
If you want to be in a wrestling promotion, you have to be a tennis player with a rich dad.
Yep.
You have to fall asleep somewhere in the back. You have to have met a friend at a bar and beaten them up. Mm. You have to be a 5,000-year-old dragon lady. Mm-hmm. Nothing related.
Yeah.
To pro wrestling.
W. Pringle says Nikita Lyons comes before Veer. It's true.
Does Cody? That's the real question.
That is just, and we'll get to that right after we get to this next match. Braun Breaker versus Santos Escobar. Loved it. Braun Breaker he's got a new thing now where he destroys things on his way to the ring for his big title defenses. Remember how he pulled something off a chain and then kicked an NXT logo and something?
First it was the Miz letters, but NXT. Yes.
And then he tonight he came out on a pre-taped thing, wearing one of his old singlets. I say one of his old singlets because it's not his new singlet. And he dropped a road flare in a pile of gasoline and lit the Vengeance Day logo on fire behind him. And then he walked into the camera, which we're supposed to, I think, believe was him walking to the ring, in that moment. But when he came out, he was wearing brand new tiger print tights and a singlet. And I was like, I wouldn't think anything of it if he had lit the road flare while wearing street clothes, like jeans and a t-shirt and a leather jacket. Like we've seen him before in street clothes. But the fact that you want me to believe that he walked out in a singlet, an old singlet, lit the thing on fire, and then walked to the ring, and in the middle of it, he switched to a different singlet. Because you're definitely, I know that that's a pre-tape from obviously days ago. But then have him do it in his new singlet that he's going to wear in the ring if you're going to try and make me believe that it's whatever. Doesn't matter.
To me, all I could think about was how I was like, you want this to be the Rock flamethrower moment when he set the WrestleMania thing on fire. And they were so mad that he would show up for the Super Bowl and not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if you didn't botch the whole egg storyline for his movie, you might be a little more interested.
It's true. I thought this was great. I thought that Santos looked really good.
Stop!
Braun Breaker, the Tiger King. Yeah. He got to look really good in this. As good as he's looked in a long time. He got to he hit his arrow from the depths of hell, that crazy flying suicide dive where he like leads with the crown of his head, and like I heard an audible crack, and then they were like right in the jaw, and you actually saw like Breaker feeling around in his lower mandible, and I was like, holy crap, if he broke the kid's jaw because he cracked him with the crown of his head on a suicide dive. Holy shit.
I thought he would have lost a tooth. That's what I was looking for.
It looked really real. The rest of the match was really great. It was Braun Breaker fighting from underneath because he was trying to like get past all the damage that had been done with earlier in the match. But he does, even though we have Dolph Ziggler come out and super kick him behind the ref's back because the ref sucks. And then Santos crawls over and onto the pin, and I was like, they're not gonna do this, are they? No.
But wasn't it fun to have a second of doubt?
Yeah, it was. It was
fun.
And I love how angry Dolph Ziggler got because I guess he thought he could beat Santos easier. Yeah, he was just so furious that the Braun Breaker kicked.
He lost his mind.
He was so angry. This was when Vic Joseph said, Dolph Ziggler beside himself. He's just very angry, Vic. Vic, just say he's angry. And then he tries to get involved again, but Ciampa shows up, drags him out from below the ring ropes, and they battle to the back. And then he hits his really cool power slammy type thing on Santos and gets the 1, 2, 3 and gets to defend. And Dolph Ziggler's going to beat Ciampa next week on NXT. And then Dolph Ziggler's going to get a title match at the matinee on the first night of WrestleMania this year. I don't know why Dolph Ziggler gets that match. It seems to me like you have time. You have a month and a half to build one of your actual NXT people to be worthy of having a match versus Braun Breaker at the matinee, at the Mania matinee.
I think, as we're talking about this, it just occurred to me that maybe that is to have some name to try and get people there live at all. Mm-hmm. That's so much wrestling in one day. That's so unfair to do to your NXT talent. Yeah. That's so unfair. Like the takeovers before Mania were better than Mania the past few. Yeah. Just like absurdly good. Upsettingly good. Yeah. So that's my only thinking is maybe they want one name that the elusive casual fan might recognize. But I think the match will be good. I like Ziggler. Like I loved him losing his mind here. I thought that was really fun. I thought Escobar was just fantastic. And it didn't surprise me. And the build to this I actually really like too. Like this is a story that I've liked in NXT 2.0 basically from beginning to end. I've loved all the work he did. We're not going to get to see Braun Breaker fight from behind in a lot of situations. So because of his stature, so to do it in a numbers game situation was great. It's a different type of match for him to wrestle. Escobar's just so damn cool. Yeah, like he just is, and a fantastic in-ring storyteller and wrestler. Like really, really, really impressive.
Johnny Knoxville is going to win the IC title from Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, and Santos Escobar.
But how could we possibly know that Sami Zayn is already your IC champion, Alex? How would we possibly know that?
Well, I mean, I'm just assuming.
Are you? Because they spoiled everything.
I know. They spoiled it on social media. They wanted to spoil it themselves, not having somebody else spoil it. That's because they have FOMO of they're missing out on spoiling things themselves.
God forbid someone else do it and make you sound cool.
No. Anyway, Johnny Knoxville is going to be the IC champion coming out of WrestleMania. He's going to vacate the title and they're going to have something to crown a new one. Whatever they do, battle royal, ladder match, tournament, Santos Escobar should be the new Intercontinental Champion after that.
Yes,
what they should
but there's a big part of me that wants it to be LA Knight.
Okay.
I want some stable feuds on the main roster, I think. Like, if not the Bloodline, call up Legato and have them. Hell, call up Diamond Mine too. Empty the well. I don't know. But I feel like with Legato, there is something special with the entire group. Everybody has their role. Elektra has some charisma and a great look about her. She can actually talk. I just think it would be more fun to have a unit versus a unit because we just don't get that up there anymore.
I know.
So, and I'm an LA Knight mark because I'm not dummy.
Mark Losper says first real Braun Breaker match I've watched. The hype is real. If Vince doesn't screw this up, big if, he's going to be an absolute megastar. I feel like this guy is a can't miss unless you miss on purpose.
Yeah, because he is someone that's great that also fits the Vince mold. So it's not like Vince is going to miss him because
Vince would have to actively screw this up. Like, not
we've seen it happen.
We've seen it happen. But like, he's just got a specific something. Like, there's a certain and it's you have to lean into the Steiner thing. He's going to get the dog face gremlin wherever he goes. Like, lean into it. This is Rick Steiner's kid. This is Scotty Steiner's nephew.
Braun Steiner.
He is a genetic freak. That's what Steiner should tell himself that. Scotty did. And I have his genes in. I am a genetic freak. Like, that is what I have, that whole thing, man. Yeah.
I have it too, but because of a few things. This is the Vince mold, right? And on top of that, it's not only someone who fits the Vince mold, it's someone that Vince has discovered without the Triple H era. Sure. Yeah. So I think if you don't have him dethrone Roman, I don't know what this title reign is.
Right. Yeah.
At some
no. Here's the deal. I can't see my way to Roman beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
No. So
Braun Breaker's not going to dethrone Roman. Brock's going to do it. So it's the biggest waste of time ever, because of all the people on God's green earth who do not need the rub of being the guy to beat Roman Reigns after this 600-day reign, Brock Lesnar needs it the least. But that's what they're going to do.
I think Roman retains. I thought you were saying the opposite.
No.
You think Brock wins?
They're not going to have Brock lose to Roman again. They're just not. Like, they're just not going to have that happen again. I mean, they might, but then the next time they wrestle, he'll beat him. Like, they're just not going to have Brock Lesnar lose to Roman over and over and over and over and over again. They didn't bring him back for that. They brought him back to dethrone Roman.
You know, there is a thing that I don't know what Brock's contract is, because he came back at SummerSlam. If he signed a 1-year contract, there's a limit to that, right?
I suppose. I heard it was 18 months.
You know what? Let it end in a DQ.
Yeah.
Again. Just be symbolic of Roman's entire reign and have it end in a DQ.
Yeah. Chris Pereira says stick Bivens with Braun Steiner versus Reigns at SummerSlam, since the kid can't cut a promo yet without just yelling. I actually do like his promo style, but it is one note. Bivens versus Heyman in a promo war for a month would be great. And that is true. That is true.
I don't think Breaker's that guy, because I don't think he needs it. Because it's not even just like delivery and how captivating you are. It's the making sense of shit stuff.
Yeah.
That like is so valuable with a manager.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, we got through the main event. Adrenaline in the soul. Roman loses to Cody Rhodes.
Something, Cody Rhodes.
He owns that music. He owns that song. So
You
when
mean
he-
on the way out, he's gonna take it all away. He'll take it all away. He's gonna take his theme song.
he's Cody Rhodes is going to debut. If he doesn't debut at the Blood Money show on Saturday in some kind of crazy swervy thing, he's showing up on Raw on Monday. Like they're just going to do it right now. There are two possibilities I see for what they're doing with Cody Rhodes coming out of this. Everyone says, oh, Vince is really happy to have poached a guy, a top guy from the other place, and he's going to push him or whatever. So there's two ways that they're going to do it. Either that, they're going to give him a mega push as this guy. We stole this guy. Look what a big star we stole from the other place. That's what they're going to do, right? And we're going to push him. We're going to make him the WWE champion. We're going to do all this stuff. They're pushing him to the moon. We're going to do all that. Or they're going to put him in a polka dot singlet. And they're going to put him in a metaphorical polka dot singlet. They're going to do to him what they did to Dusty, to his dad. They're going to also do to him what they're gonna like this guy left here and went to the other place, and I'm gonna be a big star, and then we got him back. This is the best that place has to offer, and look at who this guy is. Now I don't think Vince is going to let his pettiness get in the way of making money, but it might, because he's got a track record of that. I think it's an 80% first thing that he's going to push Cody Rhodes and make a big deal of it and try and make Cody Rhodes into a star, at least for the first few months. Or 20%, we brought him in to bury him and by extension, the other place as well.
So my take on it, and he hasn't signed there, so it's not a foregone conclusion. It's just
gonna happen.
Probable
it's going to happen.
Conclusion. There's two things. One, the IC title is something that would immediately be elevated by him and immediately be something that's meaningful to him and is a picture that needs all of the help. So I think
it's beneath him.
I think so too.
He didn't sign for a giant amount of money to go back to WWE to be the IC champion.
But
the IC champion is a dead end position.
Here's why I think they're going to push him. I think they're going to push him because I think they now view pushing him as burying AEW. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're going to keep him happy so that he doesn't.
Oh, Lord, here he is.
Hi, buddy.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Is that the leader of the ship to 5,000 Patreon subscribers, Sean Ross?
It is.
Hi,
it is.
buddy.
Oh, look at Alex switching it up with the bar in the middle. I like it.
Dang. How you doing, Sean?
Here you all are talking about some stuff, and also I gave you that extra half hour. Thank God, right?
Yeah, it's true.
We love that you're here.
We have to use it. I mean, the guy's paying for it.
That's true.
If we weren't excited you were here, we'd be like, nah. But
and the super chats are good tonight. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
we love that you're here.
Man,
how you doing? What's happening?
I'm just kind of bored of the week. The last 7 days.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, nothing exciting in football for you. Nothing exciting in wrestling for you.
Would hate if I had to break something else tomorrow.
Oof.
That was not Cody related at all. Not Austin related at all.
Huh?
Would hate that if I had to break something else contract related tomorrow on FightfulSelect.com. That would be a shame. That would be a real bummer.
You know why? Because it's not like that many people can afford to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com.
Yeah, I know. It's not. It's just $5. But I mean,
$5.
Feel like I might have to. I don't want to, but I might have to break some contract related stuff from multiple companies over the next week. Like I just feel like I gotta. It's been like, God, 14 whole hours since that story came out, and I think people are getting bored. I know I'm getting bored. So
absolutely,
you look a little tired. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm exhausted.
I think the next 3 months are gonna age you like when you see a president at the beginning and the end of their term. I think
Yep.
that's gonna happen.
I already got a little gray in my beard, and at the young age of 23, I already have gray in my beard.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this Cody news, the Austin news yesterday. Holy crap! I'm gonna have some more on the Cody thing as it evolves. But Kate, you were on the show with me.
I was
Friday, and I gave you the heads up. I was like, listen.
You were like, something's happening as we're about to go on air.
Yes.
And you people probably didn't notice because Sean's such a professional, but there was definitely some orchestrating that I saw going on because I was privy to it. But
yes.
What a wild thing. And then what was funny was yesterday, I was on a different podcast and I saw a tweet from Sean that said like, big story coming to Select.
And you thought that was like, the one.
Holy shit. And then it was
well, when I saw Alvarez like teasing that big news was coming, I thought he meant the Cody thing. And then I started to snoop and people are like, oh no, it's Austin. It's the Austin story. So that was pretty wild because I didn't expect that one to come out. But like Keith Lee and Switchblade were 6 days ago.
Yep.
It feels pre-pandemic now.
It does.
What the hell, man?
You know, and like probably June of last year, I was like, you know what? CM Punk and Bryan Danielson are going to be in AEW and Cody Rhodes is not. That sounds realistic.
Yeah. Like, that's why when people said like a month ago when we broke this story, what? That's the big story you hyped up. Big story you hyped up. Oh my God. Never say never in wrestling. The whole landscape is changing. It's not just changing for AEW, it's changing for WWE. I don't expect the people who own WWE to own it in a few years even. Like, I think they're going to sell the company eventually. But I think they're going to keep paying top guys top money to keep them there and to put some doubt in the minds of other people to say, I wonder if I could leave AEW or elsewhere and make that top money. I wonder if I'd be one of those guys that could get there. Because at least then you're going to get a lot of contracts like expiring and people testing those waters at the very least to see if it's even possible. Like for all the stuff where people are like, oh, the MJF 2024 thing is a bit. I don't think it's a bit. Yeah. I think he's like, you know what? I'm going to get paid by somebody legitimately. So
at minimum, it's a huge amount of leverage. Like you'd be an idiot not to. Eddie Kingston talked about leveraging WWE against AEW because that's just what you do. So at minimum, there's going to at least be conversations.
I'm going to do my favorite thing and read a super chat. Mark Losper says, credit to SRS and the team. For the work you guys have been doing. News is good, but analysis is what keeps people like me coming back. Well done. Well, we got plenty of that on Fightful Select. I'm going to break some more news this week. I got a lot of like movement news across multiple companies like Impact, AEW, some other places. There's a lot of moving parts right now, like from all points of the card, from the top of the card to the bottom of the card.
Yeah.
But
what about Wrestling Society X? We know you.
I wish that would be nice. I don't think Human Tornado is getting signed anywhere.
No!
I think he's pretty much ruined his welcome in most places. But yeah, the Cody thing was surprising. He didn't come out and crash anything with a sledgehammer. He didn't destroy a throne, but that's because Vince and Bruce have already destroyed Triple H's throne over the last 6 or 7 months.
Correct.
Just they splattered paint all over it.
He came out with like a giant size Gorilla Glue or something and like glued it back together.
Yes. So I see somebody saying we finally figured out who Shane McMahon is wrestling at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes. Oh, I think it would be a legitimately great storyline if Vince McMahon welcomed Cody Rhodes back as the son he wished he had.
Yeah.
Or the son he never had, which is, it should be even better.
A triple threat with Triple H. Let's go.
Oh, man. Well, guys, enjoy. I ate up some of your time. Goodbye.
I'm taking that time back. Greg Poland says, for the scoops, Mark Losper says, unrelated to this show, but safe to say that any AW's honeymoon is over. Yeah, people are going to start, what their contracts are going to be up, and they'll ask for what they think they're worth. And it may honestly not be within budget because guess what? AEW is not making $1 billion a year. They're making good money, but not $1 billion a year. So they're not able to sign everybody for whatever they're going to be asking for.
No, and I will say too, like, there's going to be people, this is entirely independent of anything that I know from Sean. So please don't be like, oh,
Right.
SRS said, like, you're happy with your contract. And then as an EVP, you probably know what they paid CM Punk.
Right.
You probably know what they
Yes.
paid Bryan Danielson. And you're probably saying, I do all this other work and I'm getting paid an eighth, a quarter, or whatever of that. I want CM Punk level money because I might not bring as much value as him to merch or the show, but I'm doing all this other work. I'm doing the vlogs, I'm working dark or whatever. So I think you start to wonder, like, well, how deep does that budget really go? And if you can't even meet halfway with what WWE can offer right now, people are gonna jump ship. So it's gonna be interesting. And AEW ain't perfect. They did nothing with Brian Cage. That face turn murdered him. He's not my favorite guy, but he should never have turned face. That guy would probably be a great fit for WWE. So people are gonna come, people are gonna go. It's wrestling. Take it extremely seriously is the important part. And
always.
And you definitely know better what's right for someone in their family, and you know the inner workings of a company better than the people that work there. So just always keep that in mind in your online presence, that you definitely are more smart,
right,
in those ways.
And I don't know what is right for Cody Rhodes. I know it would be right for me, and I would never set foot in that company again.
There you go.
After he left and proved he can do it elsewhere, I would never ever go back to WWE for any amount of money, because guess what? I already have plenty, and whatever the hell Tony Khan can pay me is enough, certainly, for my family to live on. That's how I view it. If you want to say, no, I want to make all this extra money now so I can retire and never do anything for the rest of my life, that's fine. I totally get that. That's your choice. I would never prize the salary I'll be getting from somewhere over creative freedom, not working for a megalomaniacal asshole, all that kind of stuff. But that's my own personal proclivities. But I would never tell anybody what else they should do. We got a lot of super chats about this kind of stuff, so we're gonna go dive right into them. The Nerd Guru says this Cody stuff is bonkers. If he does come back to WWE, I don't know what he does. The only thing I got is if he gets the NXT reigns and is like, what has happened to my father's legacy? But no chance of that. Like, honestly, him falling into that role, I think, would be the best possible use of him within the company, because we've seen that, like, Vince sours on people in the main event scene and just drops them right back down to nothing whenever he feels like it. I would love it if Cody Rhodes got to be a legitimate main eventer, coming out and cutting his weird Cody promos and having great matches, because we've seen he can. Like, that's the thing. The last match he had in AEW was that ladder match with Sammy, and I think the match he had before, like 2 matches before that one, was the thing he had with Andrade. Like,
where he set himself on fire.
He's amazing still. I hope that he still gets to wrestle good matches, but then again, they'll probably have like distraction roll-up finishes. That's the problem.
That's it.
Mark Losper says, of course Cody owns his theme song. Nobody else wants it. Now that's harsh. I like the I like that song.
Something. I tell you what, I think with the bajillion of plays it has on Spotify, Downstate would be just fine having it.
Yeah.
But that ain't how that works.
Yeah. Mark Losper says WWE would push Cody because they'll say, see how we're treating your hero? We'll do the same to you. It's the biggest play they could make. Yes, it would be the smart play and not the petty play. And that's the thing, is like, I don't know what brain worm is going to get into Vince's head in that particular moment, you know?
The best thing they can do, because I think we know what the title picture looks like with Mania, I feel like, is you put him in something with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins cuts promos about how Cody couldn't even be the top guy at a company he founded. And Seth Rollins just goes hard in on that. Mm-hmm. And Cody comes back to say, no, I could have been, but I chose to be the guy that changed it from the inside, and talks a bunch of shit about CM Punk and how he didn't do that or whatever. Like, you could very easily set that program up. For some reason, I'm just like, if you are gonna get Owens and Austin at Mania, I feel like Seth is the guy to do that with. I just think he could make that feel so grounded and real. This is all assuming that Cody actually does this, by the way. And that he's coming back now.
Andrew says, so we're all in agreement that Cody confronts Johnny Knoxville after he wins the IC title.
No.
That was
I could see him winning it in a vacated title of some sort, but
Johnny Knoxville's going to vacate it when he wins it. When he wins it, not if he wins it, when he wins it, because they're not going to do that without him winning. The Nerd Guru says there was a Stardust casino commercial during the broadcast, which means that 150% of Cody Rhodes will don the paint and defeat our tribal chief.
That's it.
Never forget. All they had to do was just
let him
drop Stardust. He never would have left. AEW never would have been formed, guys. There's no way AEW gets formed if Cody Rhodes doesn't leave. No way.
And ROH probably shuts down 4 years earlier.
Probably. Cody's gonna win the Elimination Chamber and beat Roman and main event in Dallas. That's why he left AEW. That'd be a crazy thing for him to replace somebody in the Elimination Chamber by Saturday. Tom LaValle sent that one in. He might. I don't think necessarily they're going to get that done that quick.
I also don't know if that guy wants to immediately just like go to Saudi Arabia and show up.
I mean, I don't know. They pay a lot of money to do those things, you know.
They do.
J Blood says, though Cody's profile is way higher re-entering WWE, and the incentive exists to treat his signing as a coup, at what point does he job to Madcap? I'm thinking mid-fall, October.
I was going to say, like 4 or 5 months.
October is when he jobs to Madcap. Mark Quill says, we got to get a special Cody Rhodes theme verse from Kate in honor of the news. We've gotten those before.
All right. Ready? Here it is.
Yeah, here we go.
Adrenaline left my soul. I am not Cody Rhodes. I am Stardust. Look at my face paint. You thought I would be elite until the end of time, but for now I ain't.
For now, I ain't is great. Ricardo El Idolo. Cody leaving AEW is massive. Love him or hate him, he's a cornerstone of the company. If he goes to the Fed, it'll be a huge coup. But don't complain when the boot you lick is shitty, Code Man. You lost that goodwill. Listen, I mean, I believe that there's a part of me that thinks that the whole reason he left and then went on his tour of all these places and did all the, he remember he had the picture of the list of everybody he wanted to face and all this kind of stuff. And he went to Japan and went to ROH and went to Impact, and then he started AEW. He did the All In, then he did the AEW and everything. All of that was to prove to Vince that he could be the biggest star in wrestling. And like, and he can't be the biggest star elsewhere, but he can be the biggest star under Vince. So he thinks that because at that level, you got to have a little bit of narcissism and egotism to think that I'll be the one to convince Vince that Roman isn't the guy, I'm the guy. I think that there's something within Cody. Like you watch just the way he talks, he's got that in him. I do not know.
I don't know. I just don't know. Like, we don't actually know anything. It's like, we don't know what it's like to be an executive at a wrestling company. We don't know what it's like to be one of 4 EVPs at a wrestling company, which just seems like a terrible idea in general. Sean has said that he's left on good terms everywhere he's gone. It sounds like he's leaving AEW on good terms. If he goes back to WWE, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because you think about like the promo he gave about it being the Ellis Island or whatever, but like maybe for the next 3 years, he wants to make millions of dollars, and then he'll come back as a huge heel in AEW if they're still in existence.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that go into making that decision, and we probably see the tip of the iceberg and make our own assumptions.
Mhm.
And again, he hasn't signed. It's likely, but he hasn't signed. So, who knows? Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
That last promo he gave named everywhere but WWE.
Yeah, it's true.
So we'll see.
Luis says, never forget what Vince did to goddamn DDP. I mean, he had a lot more vitriol stored up for Ted Turner and WCW than he has for AEW, but that's always a possibility. I don't think they'll do that to start with. But
No.
But I wouldn't put it past him after a year. You know what I mean? To just
For sure. I don't even think it'll take
sour on the whole thing and then just like start burying him. It like intensely
the second
him,
he loses steam.
Yeah.
He's gonna get like this huge 8-month run.
Right.
And then the second he loses his steam, he'll be where everybody else is.
Yeah. And the only wrestler that he hasn't wrestled from that list is Roderick Strong.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which would be interesting if they actually got to have a match now that he's going there. But
it'd be interesting if they release Roderick
Somebody
Strong.
did a fake one of like the list now that he's going back to WWE, and the one that just made me just go like this for like a minute straight is have a feud with Riddle where I steal his scooter.
Yep.
And I was like, you're going to be able to check that one off for sure, dude. They're definitely doing that one with you, Cody. I thought that was hilarious.
Amazing.
Mark Losper says, people who come wrestle with me, a lot of these people are frankly lifers, and they know it. That's a quote from Cody Rhodes that aged like milk.
That's a quote from Tony Khan that aged like milk.
No, Tony, that's right. Tony Khan, that's right.
You don't. They need a publicist. You don't say that under any circumstances.
No, you don't.
Because the one that
you never know
laps it, even if it's just Marco stunt, that now feels personal because you went out of your way to say it. Tony Khan loves to go out of his way to say things.
Oh, he's very much baby Vince.
Yeah,
like
he's another billionaire.
Yeah, he's just another billionaire, billionaire's kid. Rob Reed says, I'm upset.
I kind of am too.
Cody Rhodes should have debuted tonight on NXT because then he'd be able to sing, Cody Rhodes left his show to go to NXT 2.0 to give a couple of guys a trophy.
I mean, that's true, but that first stanza can stick around still. So
that's true. It could. You never know.
It could be other rhymes.
So we got more of these things. Oh, by the way, JW Pringle sent in a super chat saying, "Did I miss the long running bit call out?" Meaning the the whole thing with him and your dad. No, you didn't miss it. I just saved it for later. JW Pringle says, "Hi, Kate's mom and dad. Hey, Paul Elizabeth, do you like Westerns? I decided to watch Tombstone instead of NXT 2.0. What's your favorite Western?" Paul Hensler replied, "Greetings, Team Kalex and JW Pringle. Herr Pringle, my favorite Western is Blazing Saddles." JW Pringle says, "Amazing choice, Tall Paul. You've got good taste."
That's appropriate because a lot of times when watching NXT 2.0, I'm like, they are so talented and they are so dumb.
It's true. Joey Castro says, "I rarely get to catch this show live. Thank you for being the most entertaining review show on the internet. Linder and Sheeler forever." Yes,
we need t-shirts so bad.
The Cody Rhodes is going back to where, of course, my former flame, the Dusty Rhodes, was forced to be a plumber, I suppose, some kind of dancing plumber. And let me tell you, he told me those were the worst days of his career. He hated him so much. But he had to do it. He was a man of honor, and so whatever Vince told him to do, he did it.
The emotional connection between you and him, I thought was gonna last forever. I really did.
Yeah, it was a road flare burning itself out on a Vengeance Day sign.
just a flickering flame that burned very hot.
A
Very,
road
very hot. And then
to the
winked
top of the
out
flame.
existence. Yep, that's true.
I have a question for you, Alex.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes re-enters the picture, right?
Yeah.
How much more stupendous does that make WrestleMania on a scale of 1 to stupendous?
If Cody Rhodes has his first match back in the Fed at Mania versus somebody like Seth Rollins, it I don't know, like it makes Mania 10 times more interesting to me. Like I was talking
I didn't ask interesting. I asked stupendous.
More stupendous for me personally in my own
10 more stupenduses.
10 more
stupendi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I was talking on Sour Graps last night. I'm not looking forward to anything because I'm so convinced now that Alexa Bliss is going to win the chamber match, depriving us of Bianca getting revenge on Becky, which is the only match that I had been looking forward to, apparently, on the card. Like, I really don't care about anything else that's happening on that thing. And so, and now, though, if it's Cody, yeah, I kind of want to see what the hell they do with Cody's first match back with all the fucking pyro and everything.
So the thing that you'd be most interested in at WrestleMania is the thing that just left AEW 24 hours ago.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's very true. Very true.
They're gonna make that a triple threat, and that's gonna make me want to die. It's gonna be Bianca, Alexa, and Becky, and that's gonna be. And
then Bianca can pin Alexa,
and Becky will be protected.
Yeah, and Becky can be protected. That's what they'll do. Luis says, "So Sheila, are you saying that Dusty believe that honor is real?"
Love is real,
yeah.
And honor is real.
I think the only Mania course of action that we would care about is Rollins, Edge, or Orton. Orton for the history and those promos. Oh man, oh man. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I want Edge and AJ.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't mind Cody and AJ. I don't really care about watching Cody Rhodes wrestle Randy Orton. I really don't care about that. Like, that's not the thing. I guess.
I have an emotional attachment to Legacy because it was the first thing that I saw when I started watching wrestling, and I don't even care about that. Yeah. Like, I have like an emotional attachment to it, and I still don't care. Yeah. I'm always interested in what Kevin Owens is doing just because I think he's so phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Jay Blood says, nice Ivan Reitman shout out with the shirt. That's my Simpsons Ghostbusters mashup shirt. Thank you very much. Yes, it was a nice shout out specifically to Ivan Reitman. To talk about something cheery and unrelated, Shotka29 says, thoughts on Nick Wayne? The kid is a prodigy to say the least, and AEW now have 38 amazing pillars. I'm looking forward. I think he's going to be more like apprenticing and figuring out how to. I mean, he's technically a minor. He's like, he's very young.
He's a fantastic.
He's a fantastic young wrestler, but like, you know, he'll definitely grow into it. I think it's kind of cool to like creating a little farm system.
Do Billy Starks next.
Yeah, sure.
He's for the love of God.
JW Pringle says, Noah keeps me up at night. Boy wrestler with long hair, the hair is wet. Lady wrestler with long hair, the hair is dry. Why the difference? It's whatever the hell Vince thinks. I don't know. I just don't know. Ryan Sullivan says, thoughts on the new NXT show set. I'm assuming he means the Level Up set.
Okay, I don't like why I don't like it. Why is that one primary colors and the other one is bright neon colors?
It's also green and orange.
Is it
like
really?
Bright neon green and orange is what I
only saw that picture from Sean.
Yeah, it looks like the colors appear to be that.
I'm so bothered by their lack of vowels.
Yeah. I'm Level Up. Shady Huda says NXT 2.0 was great tonight. Carmelo and Braun are the future. It was great overall in the ring. It's just the rest of the crap that they do on the outside of the ring that kind of pulls the whole product down.
Ew, I'm looking at the set now and it's stupid. Why does it look like Christmas?
I don't know. Mark Losper says, I don't know if the famed Australian rubbish soap opera Neighbours has reached America. I would watch 35 episodes of that in a row rather than these segments.
I don't know it, but
No, it's a rubbish soap opera.
I'd probably watch it too because this is really bad.
Mark Losper says, you give him the extra half hour? Oh, yes, he did. But he also took away 9 of our minutes. So we're going 9 minutes over the extra half hour. He came here and started talking himself. So now all we have left are the jukeboxes. Mark Losper says that Bivens' terrible towel was actually a send up of John Cena with his.
I know, I'm just a Steelers fan, and we have no quarterback, so I was making a funny.
Okay, from last week, the Batted to One Jam Beard asked for Wilford Brimley to sing the DX theme, and so we're gonna do both of those back to back, I guess. Here we go. All right. Oh boy. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down. Diabetes.
That's that one. I'm not doing
I didn't realize diabetes was part of the song.
Oh, it's the degeneration. Yeah, okay. This is apparently the King of Rock version from WWF Aggression by Run DMC. Apparently, is as Wilford Brimley now. Apparently,
I gotta come to your rings because I'm so high that even you and R. Kelly believe I can fly. Selling jammies, one of them Grammy rappers chanting and cheering, sending more Volvo without a record in years. My catalog got a long list of hits in the stores, and for you sample happy suckers out there breaking the laws, rather hit you where it gets you, bring it up on a charge. It'd be better just to let a lawyer know from the start. The King of Rock, who? That be my hobby and job, and when I come and bring the ruckus, suckers duck and then dodge. The King of Rock? What? What? I'm sorry? What? Diabetes.
There you go. That's that.
I'm gonna get signs of like rating all of them.
You should get like 1 through 10. You should hold it up at the end of each one.
I know, and I don't think it would ever be below a 9.
So here we go. Ricardo L. Edelohausen says Walter does Crush 'Em by Megadeth. Okay.
Enter the arena and hit the lights. Step up now, you're in for a ride. This is war. Ain't no fun in games. We get it up, you go down in flames. Party time. Going down. You better not mess around. The stakes are rich. Take a hit. Oh, stay. The price is right. Someone's gonna pay. Heads I win, tails you lose. Out of my way, I'm coming through. Roll the dice, don't think twice. We crush 'em.
There you go. That's that one. Thank you very much.
Loved it.
Mm-hmm. So we have now, we're gonna have 2 Regal Raps, the original, and then another one came through, and then we have a new end of show bit.
We do.
Which is I'm going to do first. The idea comes from JW Pringle. We have the Regal Rap. I'd like to add Tony D's Country Time. Tony D reads 90s country music lyrics. Let's start with Neon Moon by Brooks and Dunne. All right, let's do that. Let's start with that. Here we go. Tony D reads 90s country music lyrics. When the sun goes down on my side of town, that lonesome feeling comes to my door, and the whole world turns blue. There's a rundown bar across the railroad tracks. I got a table for 2 way in the back, where I sit alone and I think of losing you. I spend most every night beneath the light of a neon moon. Now, if you lose, you're one and only. There's always room here for the lonely to watch your broken dreams dance in and out of the beams of a neon moon. There you go. Thank you for the idea, JW Pringle. Now we got two
The
Regal Raps.
moon. Oh, Regal Raps.
Two Regal Raps. One of them is from Zach Barber. It is Country Grammar by Nelly. There you go.
Careful, friend.
Yeah, I will try. I will try. See if I can.
I think this song references marijuana.
Oh,
which-
does it now? Okay.
MSK would be
Still illegal in 13 states.
so good.
I'm going downtown, baby. Your street in a Range Rover. Sweet sweeper, baby. Cocked, ready to let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa. What? Listen to it pound. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now. I'm going downtown, baby. Your street in a Range Rover. Street sweeper, baby. Cocked, ready to let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa. What? Listen to it pound. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now. You can find me in St. Louis rolling on dubs, smoking on dubs in clubs, blowing up like Cocoa Puffs sipping bud, getting perved and getting dubbed, daps and hugs, mean mugs and shoulder shrugs. And it's all because accumulated enough scratch just to navigate it, wood decorated on chrome, and it's candy painted, fans fainting while I'm entertaining. Wild, ain't it? How me and money get acquainted. I hang with Hannibal Lecter, so feel me when I bring it, sing it loud. What? I'm from the Lou and I'm proud. I run a mile for the cause. I'm righteous above the law. Player, my style's raw. I'm born to mac like Todd Shaw. Whoever that may be. War Games!
All right, and the last one, of course, in honor.
Did
of
not know William Regal and Hannibal Lecter.
No, just like this.
Tag team if I ever heard one.
In honor. Man, this is going to be a tough one. A real tough one, guys. Thank you so much, Board Dude 630, for getting me canceled forever if I mess up even once reading these lyrics.
I feel like we shouldn't do this.
Still DRE in honor of the Super Bowl halftime show.
But there's like also F-bombs in addition. I don't know about this, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, fella, we're still messing with you. Still waters run deep, still Snoop Dogg and DRE. 99, fella. Guess who's back? Still doing that stuff. Heart Dre, oh, for show. Yeah, check me out. It's still Dre Day, fella. AK, fella. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block. Ladies, they pay homage. But haters say Dre fell off. How, fella? My last album was The Chronic, fella. They want to know if you still got it. They say rap's changed. They say they want to know how I feel about it if you ain't up on things. Dr. Dre is the name ahead of my game. Still puffing my leaves. Still screw with the beats. Still not loving police. Well, that seems fair. I'm still rocking my khakis with a cuff and a crease for show. Still got love for the streets, repping 213 for life. Still the beats bang, still doing my thing. Since I left, ain't too much change. Still. War Games!
I
William
navigated
Regal
that
from
perfectly.
the 213.
213.
No.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Oh, buddy.
Hey, it's me and Kate on the post show for Elimination Chamber Signs of Time on Saturday,
Sons
where
of
I won't watch the
Elimination.
show and Kate will, and then she'll tell me what happens, and it'll be crazy. The
Yes.
Scream Princess says the anxiety I had when you were reading that. How do you think I felt?
We give you a lot of love for that.
Keep cool.
Gabagools.
Fools.